Giants last night. It is The Zone on a Friday, 913-912-4810. The text line to join us to be a part of the show, 913-912-4810. I mean, that is – last night is the beauty of fantasy football and DraftKings, because if you aren't a Denver fan or a Vegas Raider fan, Oakland Raider fan, Los Angeles Raider fan, simply a Raider fan, really no reason to waste your time watching that game last night. I mean, that was a turd of a game. It was absolutely brutal to watch. The only reason I was watching is those reasons, but also hoping by some miracle from God that the Raiders would find a way to pull that game out. And the entire game, you just knew the Broncos were going to win, that the Raiders are not good enough to find a way to win a game like that, even though the Broncos were like, yeah, we're actually not that good either. We're trying to let people know that we aren't all that good. And last night that game happens, and it's just, my God. You know what my takeaway from that game is, Sterling?
It was a mid-off.
Jason Anderson, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. My takeaway from that game is that the Broncos are not a serious threat. Let's stop. They're 8-2, but they aren't a serious threat in the AFC. Bo Nix is not good. He may make some throws because he's an NFL quarterback. And an NFL quarterback will make some throws from time to time. But he is not a good quarterback that's going to be a franchise quarterback that's going to lead a team through the playoffs, and where you need somebody to step up and make plays and make throws in a game that you are relied upon to do that. He's not good enough to do that. He's not good enough. And I'm glad that the Broncos have him, and I hope that they keep doubling down on Sean Payton's handpicked guy. I hope they keep doing that.
Well, he's just good enough to make you say, well, we don't want to move on because...
And they're going to pay him.
It might be worse. This feels like...
Yeah.
Now, Daniel Jones is doing really good things with the Colts.
Thinking the same thing.
But this feels very Daniel Jones with the Giants when they made the playoffs.
Feels Danny Dimes, not Indiana Jones.
That one year they made the playoffs, they won a playoff game, and then they were left going, well, I guess we have to pay this guy.
Right.
Because you're sitting here going, well, it can be worse. We've seen it be worse. Geno Smith right now is worse.
Denver, we traded for Russell Wilson. It can be much worse.
And so you're almost stuck in purgatory of what do you do? We've seen it time and time again. We've seen it with, I think Trevor Lawrence is a great example of this. Now, I think Trevor Lawrence is probably a little better than Bo Nix, but I think they're fairly similar. Of the, well, first-round quarterback, we've been fine.
Handpicked guy.
And you're almost stuck at that point.
Because you talk about the sunk cost all the time. I don't think Denver is going to look at Bo Nix and go, well, it's a sunk cost. We already spent the money. Let's move on from him and find somebody else if they actually come to the conclusion he's not a franchise quarterback. I think they're going to continue to look at it and go, no, this is the guy we took in the first round. We're going to try to make it work. Sean Payton's handpicked guy. We're going to try to make it work. We'll build around him. We'll grab this guy, that guy. We'll do different things. We'll draft R.J. Harvey. We'll get Cortland Sutton. We'll trade for somebody else. We'll find ways. We'll get a great defense. We'll find ways so we can lift up Bo Nix.
And I'll give them credit. They're 8-2.
Yes.
I know that all these games are one-score games, and that's what the Chiefs did last year, and I felt like the Chiefs should have gotten more benefit because they were, again, back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Denver obviously is not, but give them credit. They're doing what they're supposed to do. I know it was ugly. It was horrible. It was gross last night. Golden Tee was way more fun than the game.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. I wish I was playing Golden Tee last night.
Way more fun. But again, end of the day, you're supposed to win, and they won. Again, when the Chiefs barely beat the Giants, not this year, but a couple years ago. Remember that game? And everyone's like, well, are they that good because they can barely beat the Giants? And then they won the Super Bowl, right? So I'm not saying Denver's going to do that, but they didn't lose. And that's what really matters. I mean, end of the day, is it ugly? Is it gross? Yes. But they've also shown a lot this year of, I know it's the Giants, funny enough, but 33 points in one quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought they were going to do that.
Right.
40-plus points against the Cowboys. Again, Cowboys defense worse in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. I still never thought that they would put up 40 points with that offense. So Denver has answered some questions I had, but then you see them revert back to this against this Raiders team who, give them a lot of credit. They were fired up in this game, clearly.
But the Raiders played sloppy Raider football.
Defensively, I thought they played very well.
They were all right.
Offensively, they were a disaster.
The Broncos were bad offensively.
Yeah.
That's why they played well.
Yeah, Max Crosby's good, and Bo Nix is the quarterback.
Sure.
On the other side. I saw this stat last night. Only 2 times in the last 40 years has an NFL team had a game with 10 or more penalties than points, more penalties than first downs, an entire quarter without a first down, under 100 rush yards, under 150 net pass yards, and a missed field goal. Only 2 times that's happened in the last 40 years where a single team has done that. It was both teams last night. It wasn't just one of them. It's the only time in the last 40 years, and they both did it against each other. It was, oh man, I almost said something that was going to be marked. I'll tell you in the break what I almost said. I'm going to write it down so I can tell you in the break.
Yeah, thank you.
Because you're gonna really love it. And then when I go back and look at this format like a year from now, I'm going to go, what the hell did I write down? Why did I write that down? I have no idea what that was for. But that's what it was last night. And I come to the conclusion that Denver is not a serious threat for the Kansas City Chiefs because, like you talked, they scored 44 against Dallas. They scored 33 against the Giants in one quarter. They scored 28 against Cincinnati and 28 against Indianapolis. The worst defenses they faced this year are when they've got points. When they faced okay or better defenses, they're not scoring.
Yeah.
They didn't. I mean, last night they didn't score. And at NFL.com, they always do the what we learned from each game. And I was reading through the what we learned from last night's game.
What did Jason Anderson learn?
Yes. What did they learn today? And part of one of the points that they were making about the Denver offense, and it was about Bo Nix, and it said, Bo Nix's bad, throw down the field, chucking it for no reason when you're trying to get points. And then an interception later that was Troy Franklin's fault. And I'm like, no. The broadcast, and I was a little surprised that they did not look at this a little deeper. That was not Troy Franklin's fault. That was 100% Bo Nix's fault. Watch the play again. What's one of the things that people have complained about Bo Nix? His footwork is off at times, and he tends to fade away when he's throwing for some reason. Watch the play again. Cortland Sutton is on a short crosser. That ball is thrown right at Cortland Sutton that will hit him right in stride. Only he has to jump and it goes over his head. It's behind Troy Franklin because they're running layers. He did not throw that to Troy Franklin. He threw that to Cortland Sutton. And when you watch his footwork, he's sitting in the pocket, he steps, a Raider flashes in front of his face, and he fades backwards. Now, you fade backwards, your arm loses momentum, and you get under the ball. Hey, anybody that's thrown a ball before, what happens if your hand gets under the ball?
It'll sail.
It'll sail. That was thrown to Cortland Sutton because he got a little pressure and he faded away, which is what he does. So that wasn't Troy Franklin's fault. That was Bo Nix's fault. It happens. And he got lucky that Troy Franklin was there because that was a wide open Cortland Sutton to catch the ball and maybe keep running. And he missed him. But those are the plays that it's like, I don't trust Bo Nix to come through. And here's what I was watching last night, Sterling, and I'll see if you agree with this or not. I was watching the game, and they come away with the victory, and I'm like, man, they're 8-2. And as you said, credit where credit is due because they're winning. And there are plenty of people in Denver that are complaining about the win last night. Okay, so it was not a Denver, we won, we're 8-2, take it, suck it, rest of the NFL. That was ugly. What the hell's going on? Sean Payton needs to answer some questions, right? Why are you not giving the ball to J.K. Dobbins? Bo Nix doesn't seem to be the answer. I mean, there was some real, commentary there about some negativity, which there was a lot of it around here last year when the Chiefs were pulling out close victories. But I'm watching the game last night, and I'm like, this is the Minnesota Vikings last year. This is a team that went 14-3. They were finding ways to win games late, But did you ever trust that they were that good? And was that quarterback that good? Now, Sam Darnold has gone to the Seahawks, and he looks damn good this year. But what happened the last 2 weeks of the season, last 2 games for Sam Darnold
when the playoffs,
when they had to have it? Week 18 against the Lions, he was brutal. Against the Rams, he was brutal. Those 2 games combined, he completed 50% of his passes, barely 200 yards average, 1 touchdown and 1 interception in those 2 games. When it was, you have to be a winning quarterback that will make plays. Now, maybe he's learned from that and taken it this year and is just off and running. But that's what I look at the Denver Broncos. They may win the West, maybe not, but I don't think they aren't a 2 playoff win team. They're a maybe 1 playoff win team. And it's going to be on the strength of their defense and finding ways to score enough points. Because while the Chiefs were surviving some games, this is where the difference is. And I brought this up yesterday with Matt Lane. This is where the difference is when people are talking about 1-score games. The 1-score losses this year for the Chiefs feel way more like the teams the Chiefs were beating last year by 1 score. The Chiefs are coming back to try to make it a 1-score loss outside of the Jags game.
Yeah.
They were down 10 to the Eagles, made it a score. They were down double digits to the Chargers. 4th down heave to Hollywood Brown. They end up getting points on that drive, making it a 1-score game. They're down 7 to the Bills. A field goal hits the uprights. Would have been a double-digit game. They were trying to come back and make that thing a game. This is what they've done this year. Last year, they were leading almost the entire game, and the other teams were trying to make those comebacks. They started the 4th quarter up 14 on the Ravens. It's the reason the Ravens came down to the last play, because they had to be perfect with no margin for error because the Chiefs dominated the first 3 quarters. So they were winning 1-score games with teams getting back into it. They were up by 14 against the Raiders with 40 seconds to play. The Raiders scored a touchdown, didn't get an onside kick. Chiefs won by 7, 1-score win. Was it, though? Was it a 1-score win? They should have got a stop against the Panthers there late. They didn't. They went in overtime. Still would have been a 1-score win against the Panthers, but it was also the Panthers getting back into it late when the Chiefs were like, okay, cool, let's go home. And the Panthers were like, well, let's wait a minute. The game, I ain't heard no bell, and the Chiefs did that from time to time. This is a Broncos team that's winning close games by making crazy comebacks in the 4th quarter. That's not sustainable. We could talk about 1-score games last year, Sterling. Sorry. We could talk about 1-score games last year. Not sustainable, and I get it. But I think there's a different game script of those 1-score games where the Chiefs were leading and holding teams off, where the Broncos are making these crazy comebacks against some teams, and then a field goal to beat the Raiders last night and just 2 scoring drives.
What it comes down to is their defense is top 3 in all of the NFL.
Yeah.
I think it's them,
Awesome.
Texans, and name a team.
They're very 95 Chiefsy.
But how is that going to work come playoff time? When you have to, and again, they did it against the Giants, so credit where credit's due, and to an extent against the Cowboys.
The Giants' 4th quarter was unbelievable.
When you have to outscore a team, can you do it? And I don't believe, even though we've seen it, I guess, twice, that they can. I don't think they can outscore the Chiefs or the Bills, or if the Ravens make the playoffs. I think there's a good amount of teams that I'm sitting here going, if you start getting into the mid to upper 20s even, I just don't like the Broncos' chances. They're going to be good in the regular season because of what they have. They'll be good beating up, not even beating up necessarily, but winning against bad teams.
They're going to have a gaudy record this year.
Yes.
I don't think they're going to end up 10-6 and just 2 more wins. I think they're going to be a 12 or maybe 13-win team because they only have 2 losses right now.
Even their weapons aren't great. I mean, we can talk about Bo Nix all we want, but Troy Franklin's fine.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton's fine.
I think Cortland Sutton's better than fine. I think Cortland Sutton's good and the rest of them are fine, are okay. Ingram should probably be used more.
Sure.
But he's always been a guy that's like, boy, the traits match, but is he a consistent enough tight end to where, fantasy football, he's going to get you 100 yards and a touchdown, and then 1 catch, 5 yards.
I also think the offensive line for the Broncos is pretty good, which gives them a good floor. Again, the Broncos to me seem like a team that has a really good floor. I'm surprised they're 8-2, but the floor of a great defense and a really good offensive line is going to win you a lot of games in the NFL. Will it win you the big ones come playoff time, which we've seen in the past here in Kansas City that that's not always the case.
Yeah. Let's hear from Sean Payton. This is where, so sometimes we can, we try to filter out what coaches say because you get coach speak. The quarterback will give you coach speak, robotic speak.
Looking for the challenge of playing. Even the Andy Reid bingo I made?
Yeah, the Raiders are such a well-coached team. All right, they are a really well-coached team, and you're looking forward to the challenge. I do love the fact that the Chiefs beat the Raiders, and people are like, it's just the Raiders. And the Broncos win last night. See, that defense is suffocating. Well, the Raiders scored 7 more points against the Broncos' crazy suffocating defense than the Chiefs, but whatever. Neither here nor there, giving a hoot nor a holler, as you like to say. But every once in a while, you can read a little bit more into what a coach is saying. Take a listen to Sean Payton here. This was a reporter. The question's in there because Sean Payton cuts the reporter off. This was a reporter asking Sean Payton about trying to get to the offense, trying to get to a question about the offense, the script, how they are running the offense because people are complaining. And I think this reporter was trying to ask the question that Denver fans are wondering of, why are you running the ball effectively with Dobbins but not giving him the ball? You don't have 15 back there to say we don't run the ball because we put it in 15's hands. You should put it more in number 27's hands. So take a listen to Sean Payton sounding really defensive.
Sean, again, as you've said, your record says who you are.
Exactly right.
But,
no, but. Are you going to say but?
What,
no. What's your question?
Are you comfortable with the script of just kind of how these games continue to be won?
We're never comfortable as coaches, but there's no buts. So you're asking, am I comfortable as a coach? We're never satisfied. If my answer were to you, I'm comfortable, that'd be silly, right? So obviously we got to clean up the penalties. We got to clean up some of the execution, and that is an ongoing thing that probably never ends. There's, you search for that Shangri-La. Right now, we're a team sitting at 8 wins. I think we're the only team sitting there. So, and yet we're constantly looking internally. But it was a tough night offensively, obviously, and so we'll look at that tape and we'll learn from it. We always will.
I do appreciate that he used Shangri-La because that's as real as the Broncos' Super Bowl chances. They're both just as fictional.
Is that going to be Sean Payton's? We're looking for Shangri-La while in Dallas.
Sure.
We're looking for some glory hole.
We want me some glory hole. Well, is that at Shangri-La? I don't know. It's it's supposed to be some amazing place. Anyway, let me ask you the question, as one coach once said. Do you think if the reporter...
No buts. You better say but.
I wasn't going to say
buts.
But. Do you think if the reporter were asking Sean Payton a question that they didn't have the crazy comeback against the Giants, they didn't have that crazy comeback against the Cincinnati Bengals, and they didn't have... or the Texans, and throwing the Bengals too... I think that was a comeback against the Bengals. I can't really remember. There was a few of them. That's 3 games. 3 games. Heck, take even last night, 3 games.
No, it wasn't Bengals because they won that game 28-3.
Yeah. So
Colts. No, they lost the Colts.
They lost that one because of the field goal thingy. They should have won that game. But let's just say last night, okay? Let's say 3 games. They're 5-5, not 8-2. And the reporter asks the question and says, Sean, I know that you talk about your record is what you are, but Sean Payton would let him finish. But what? But do you think that the way the script has gone, are you comfortable with that where your team is, given the record? I think Sean Payton would have answered and said, no, our record is not what we want it to be right now. This happens, that happens, that happens. Yeah, we can find a way to win some of these games. We got to clean up the penalty. He wouldn't cut him off if the record was 5-5. And that's where I know that Sean Payton also believes his team is a little fraudulent because he's going, no. Only look at the record. Record, shut up. Our record's 8-2. You shut your mouth. Don't say anything else about this team. Don't say but. The record is 8-2. That's all you need to know. You shut your dirty mouth. Okay?
It was wild how almost angry he got so quickly.
Yeah, because he knows they're not an 8-2 team. He knows that they are more fraudulent. He knows they're finding ways somehow to win these miracle games. And he knows that that's a house of cards that's not going to make... He's won a Super Bowl before. He knows what a Super Bowl team looks like, and he knows what a Super Bowl quarterback looks like. And he doesn't have one. And I think if this team was 5-5 and the reporter asked him about, I know that you look at it and say it's the record, but he would have let him finish. But what? Because I don't think we're a 5-5 team. I think we're better. But he doesn't think they're an 8-2 team. That's why he was so defensive so quickly of do not talk about anything else. Our record is our record. That's all you need to focus on. We're 8-2, and that's all that matters. There is something to be said for the coach just saying you are what your record says you are. You're 8-2. But there's also what happens between the dash. Because last year, there were real complaints about the Chiefs, even when they were 15-1. It was, there were plenty of doubters in this town. Is this team good enough to go to the Super Bowl? Heck, coming off that Buffalo game, I was surprised to see how many people were going, this team is done. You guys are you think this team is good enough to make a run. Like, for the third year in a row, we've heard people say that. 23, this team is not good enough. 24, this team is not good enough. I mean, in 2023, the Chiefs lost to the Eagles. And I can go back and find the tweet. But they lost to the Eagles, and I tweeted out and I said, everybody's up in arms tonight and mad. We're going to wake up in February. The Chiefs are going to be playing in the Super Bowl, and we're going to forget that this happened, and we're going to come back next year and do the same thing. The amount of tweets of, you are so dumb. This team has no chance of winning the Super Bowl. This team is not going to the Super Bowl. The dynasty's over. It was just bing, 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 all of it. Just negative around the Chiefs because they lost to the Eagles. They were struggling at that time. But it's also an understanding of who the Chiefs are, what they have been, and they did go and win that Super Bowl in 23. But like, we've had these conversations for a couple of years, and last year there were real frustrations that were coming from those games. And I think even the Chiefs players knew we're not playing good enough. We have to be better than this. We know what it takes to win a Super Bowl. This is not it. Sean Payton is, no. Don't pay attention to anything else. It's 8-2. That's what you focus on is 8-2. That's the record. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's the record. We're never comfortable at any point in a game because we want to win, but we're 8-2, and that's all that really matters. And I really hope Sean Payton takes that to his team, and 8-2 is all that matters. Because that's not a championship formula. 8-2, why aren't you 10-0? Chiefs are, their record 5-4. Why aren't you 9-0? Because I guarantee people in that building think, man, we should be 9-0. How do we lose this game? Why did we lose that game? What happened here? What happened there? This is what we have to fix because we know playoff time, this won't work. The Broncos, those players don't know that because they're 0-1 in the playoffs with this group. Although they had a really good matchup if they'd have won that game. They really liked the matchup had they just won the game that they got blown out in. It's very close. They could have really played the Chiefs, and that would have been a great matchup for the Broncos. We'll see. We'll see next Sunday, but they're not a serious threat. Maybe they win the division this year, but I don't worry the way that I may have the last couple of weeks of, man, Denver always seems like last year was just a tougher game. I don't know. I'd rather play the Colts. I don't know that that's the case. We'll talk about that on the other side of the break. I want to get into what we think the final record will be for the Kansas City Chiefs as we look at the rest of the year. We'll also go through and give our mid-season awards, offensive player, defensive player, rookie of the year, most surprising player, most disappointing player so far this year. We'll do that coming up in the noon hour. Matt, Derek, Kendall, Gammon, more Zone next. All your favorite NBA players are back, NBA fans, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Matt Derrick joins us at 11 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts on the first half of the season for the Kansas City Chiefs, what he saw in Buffalo, maybe what he saw last night, what he thinks of the season the rest of the way for the Kansas City Chiefs, and some other things that we may get into. Maybe some Mizzou conversation with Matt Derrick. Sounds like with Jeff Penner's forecast that he gave this morning on A New Day, sounds like you might want to get some scoring out of the way in the first half, because as the second half progresses, it sounds like it's going to get cold and really windy there at Faurot Field. So if you're going to be throwing the ball, Mizzou, and you might want to have the lead in this one, is what it sounds like if it's going to be that windy. Who knows?
I hope not, because I don't do well in the cold.
Yeah, I know.
I'm soft, but at least I admit it. Like I'm not one of those guys.
Credit to you for admitting you're soft.
I don't like people like, it's 20 degrees out. Yeah, it's not even cold. I'm wearing shorts. Congrats. Do you want a trophy?
Dude, that's what I said.
Congrats on the frostbite, guy.
Remember when the remember berries? Remember when the Miami Dolphins in the crazy cold game came out beforehand shirtless?
Yeah.
So Miami Dolphins, I'm like, that is such fake tough guy stuff.
Yes.
Because guess what? They came out for the game with sleeves and everything else on, and the face mask, what do they call that you wear, the
helmet.
No.
They're called a helmet. Jason.
Is that what they call it?
The scuba suit?
Yeah, like on the face, though.
The face garter.
What Kadarius Toney always wore.
The face garter.
Whether it was 90 degrees or 10 degrees.
Ski mask?
Yeah, whatever that might be. I know there's a specific name for it.
Shiesty?
Yeah, you can be a shyster. I don't care. A little bit that. A fugazi sort of face mask thingy. But you come out in the game wearing all of your winter gear. I don't need you to be fake to come out before the game for warm-ups 2 hours before the game with no shirts on. Come on. That's fake. But you're not that.
I'm not. I'm real.
Yeah.
I'm a real man, and I get cold like real people do, and I don't have to try and fake that it's not bad when it gets cold. No, I will complain.
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Yeah, you don't need to do that stuff.
Someone bring me a blanket.
Get you a blankie, man.
Give me a...
you need to layer up. Make sure you layer up. Sterling, when you go to the game, make sure you layer up this weekend, okay?
No, I need one of those blankets with sleeves. Remember those things?
Snuggies?
Snuggies. I need a Snuggie.
Yeah, it's this balaklava.
That's a delicious treat. Baklava.
That too. Yep. Tex says...
phyllo dough or
didn't
phyllo
Denver
dough.
start 8-0 one year and finish 8-8? Probably. Tex says, I can see the Donkeys losing 7 in a row. Yeah, I can see that as well. Thoughts on blatant missed Zach Allen roughing the passer on Geno Smith in the fourth quarter? Well, it's rigged for the Broncos, just as the Jack Besh holding call.
Oh, my gosh.
That
what
brought
was
back
that?
the Ashton Genty
Yes.
long run. Like, are we seriously going to call that 10 yards away from the play and he's running with the guy down the field? Like, what are we even doing here?
Maybe refs just are bad. I don't know.
Yes.
Weird thought.
Yeah. Tex says, Bo will look like the best quarterback to ever exist against the Chiefs, guaranteed. There is that.
I disagree.
There is always that. You never know. One of those where you're like, man, just go to Denver and win. Beat them twice. Take care of business, beat them twice, and win the West. So you'd like to take care of business and have 10 straight.
Double digit does seem pretty cool.
Seems pretty awesome if you can do that. Let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll hear from Lee Sterling with Todd Lebo, getting you set for the weekend's worth of action with just a little more than a rooting interest. We hear from Lee Sterling from Paramount Sports coming up next.
Last night's game was 2 scoops of ass, but guess what? I still had 2 scoops of fun. 1 scoop was Golden Tee. The second scoop was FanDuel. In Missouri, get ready. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting December...
find out from national sports handicapping champion Lee Sterling on The Zone. Log on to ParamountSports.com or call toll-free 800-400-9741 to get started.
Welcome back into this Friday edition of The Zone. It's always a Red Friday on Friday, but there's no Chiefs game this week. That's fine. They're on a bye, but there's still plenty to talk about in the gambling world because we got big college football games and the NFL rolls on even without the Chiefs. And Lee Sterling for Paramount Sports. We are early in the month of November. What else is happening at Paramount Sports, Lee?
Well, like I said, it is a huge week also in the UFC. Had all that controversy, possibly a fixed fight took place. We'll see how that ends up, falling out. But I've got a real good card, and normally when we have 6 fights, we've charged anywhere from $66 to $36 for the 6 fights. You know what? I'm going to add a super saver to the UFC. 6 selections on Saturday, just $6. That's right. You heard me correct. 6 selections in the UFC starts at 3 o'clock Central, just $6. And football rolls on here, not November, November. You can get the entire month through Sunday, November 30th, just $297 for a month of games, 4 weeks of games. If you use coupon code SAVE200 when you check out ParamountSports.com.
All right, man. Let's get after these games. We have a big one in Columbia, Missouri tomorrow. Texas A&M, undefeated, number 3 in the country. They're going to lay a touchdown on the road at Mizzou. Mizzou's got a freshman quarterback playing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so I think this kid's going to be really good. I think Matt Zollers is going to be a superstar, big, strong, really good arm. But there's always a but. He's a true freshman, and he's not a runner. So I think to beat A&M, you got to have that dual threat capability out of your quarterback. So even though I think long-term he's going to be a better quarterback than Bo Perbilla, but just don't think he's the running threat yet. And also he's staring down receivers a little bit. Happens with, true freshman quarterback. So going up against another quarterback for A&M might be outside of Julian Sand for Ohio State, number 1 or number 2 quarterback in the country, Texas A&M quarterback Marcel Reed. He's playing at a high level. His top 2 receivers, Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion, averaging between 15 and almost 18 yards a reception. And the top 4 guys from Missouri, just 8 to 12 yards a reception. So what that means is you got to slowly matriculate down the field. You're not going to get 2, 3, 4 play drives, more 8, 10, and 12 plays. And when that happens, more chance for turnover, an interception from your quarterback, or more penalties, and it's going to be tough here. A&M is really good, and I love Eli Drinkwitz. I think he's a good quarterback. Florida's considering him, but he is 0-6 straight up versus top 10 teams. I think he moves to 0-7. I think A&M pulls away here late in the game, wins and covers 28-17.
Big one for A&M to try to be on top of the SEC, that's for sure. Now, we have a huge one in the Big 12. Yeah, BYU at Texas Tech is a Big 12 game. BYU's undefeated, but Tech has a loss, but they're really salty at home. They're 10-point favorites at home.
They are, and if you like BYU, you're going to be ready for a really tough ball game. They come and hit you. They got a bunch of guys on defense in the top 10 as far as Pro Football Focus, as far as their ratings. They're going to have some guys drafted high, but BYU has a lot of good players also in their defense, only giving up 19 points per game. So they're also very opportunistic, +10 in turnover ratio. Bear Bachmeier playing at a high level, not playing like a true freshman at all. So I think it's going to be a little bit tighter than most people would expect. They're just all of a sudden the public is taking Texas Tech, thinking they'll win and cover at home. But I say not so fast here. Tech, I think they escaped 28-24. I'm taking BYU in the double-digit points.
Yeah, BYU showed me a lot when they got down to Iowa State and came back and won that game easily. They will not go away quietly. All right, let's talk a little National Football League. Vikings got a big win last week. They're at home against the Ravens, but the Ravens are the favorite this week.
Yep, they are. And, if you saw the game against Miami, it looks like Lamar Jackson is playing really good football right out of the gate. One of the rare quarterbacks that can miss, a month and come back. threw 4 touchdowns, only 5 incompletions and all the passes. They didn't have the ball much, kind of a wonky game. Miami controlled the ball between the 30s, but they held Miami to 5.4 yards per play and 2 field goals. So I think their defense is playing well. I just can't trust J.J. McCarthy. Threw an interception, had a fumble. Luckily, they recovered it here. I'm going to keep riding Baltimore. They're a hot team and a team I wouldn't want to play now. Baltimore wins and covers 30-16.
And all of a sudden now we've got the Green Bay Packers in first place in the NFC North with that Lions loss last week, and they're facing the Eagles, who are obviously leading the NFC East. So this game's at Green Bay, just a Monday Night Football here, a typical 2.5, 3-point favorite for the home team.
Yeah, and Green Bay might be one of those teams that's got that zigzag in them. They cover 1 week, then don't cover, and then they come back. So very tough for them to get consistency. I think their head coach, Matt LaFleur, his play calling. I mean, they ride as his play calling goes. Same with Jordan Love. But I think the receivers are starting to come around. I like the way they're running patterns, starting to get some separation, and also getting the running game going and that pass rush. Second to none. I just don't think this is the same Philadelphia team we saw late last year. Couple injuries. I know they made a couple trades for some defensive players, but might take them a couple weeks to get integrated. I like Green Bay at home, 30-23.
And Sunday Night Football is a good one. It's important for the Chiefs, who are off this week, but the Chargers are hosting the Steelers. Now, the Steelers look like they kind of have control of the AFC North, but you mentioned those Ravens. Look like they got things kind of figured out a little bit. So This is a big one for sure for both of these teams in that playoff hunt. What do you think about Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh last week, they've had 2 games this year. They've gotten 4 more turnovers, and when they get that, they're going to be in good shape. I love what the Chargers did. Went for an offensive lineman, Joe Alt, out for the season, so made the trade there, and I think that'll solidify their offensive line. I think Justin Herbert's playing at a high level here. I think Pittsburgh should have gone out and made a trade for a number 2 receiver. I think, outside of DK Metcalf, there's no one. They got guys that probably wouldn't even be in the top 3. So that's become a problem here, and their old, aging defense here, sometimes they're good, sometimes not so good. I like the Chargers here at home. I think they win this game here 27-20.
Yeah, the Steelers have not played the Ravens yet, even once this year. So the best part of their schedule is coming for them a little bit later. All right, Lee, you've got our Kansas Jayhawks from right here in our Kansas City area as your game of the week. They've got a big one out in Arizona. Tell us about that and what else is going on at Paramount Sports.
Yeah, trying to get to bowl eligibility, and team that got on track again last week, not against a quality opponent, but sometimes a win is a win. We'll see if they can go to Tucson and maybe get a win, or does Arizona, which looked great last week, do they roll on? First 5 callers, they call 800-400-9741. Give them the Arizona-Kansas game on me, 800-400-9741. And like I mentioned, UFC, 6 selections, not 66 or even $36, $6, $1 a selection, 6 UFC selections for the UFC Fight Night on Saturday. It starts at 3 o'clock, $6, and football rolls on. Not November, the entire month through the 30th. You're going to get 12 to 15 selections each and every week. Maction was rolling for us this week. Got some big college and pro games. So you want to hop on board, use coupon code SAVE200 when you're checking out at ParamountSports.com. Just $297. Check out the website, ParamountSports.com, or call us 800-400-9741.
That sounds great, Lee. We will continue with The Zone right after this on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Holmes, Michael Darcy, Matt Derrick hanging out with us for the hour on this Friday bye week. Matt, what are you buying this weekend? Huh? It's bye week. What are you getting? What are you going to go and buy?
What? That's a great question. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, you got all weekend to think of what to buy.
You going to buy me something?
You know what? I'll take something. I like gifts. My son's birthday was last night, so yesterday. It was all day. It wasn't just last night. It was all day yesterday. So if you want to buy him something, he'd certainly be okay with that.
Hear me out. Buy the Chiefs' defensive line help.
Ooh, buy a running back.
I don't have those kind of resources. Yes. I have 0 draft picks and I have no cap space.
It doesn't matter how many draft picks you have. Just throw them all out there for a running back. Come on.
I mean, other than the fact that I had insurance due this week, so I had that was like you pay all your money for the insurance, and then it's like
for your car.
This was a little bit of everything. It was
car, house, name it.
Everything. Everybody needed insurance this week, and I felt I was actually being responsible because this is the bye week, so this is the week that I should be out blowing money and everything like that. So far, 100%. I have not. So
okay, well, you got a whole weekend to do it. That's great.
I've been a responsible consumer this week.
It'd be better.
I can help you blow your money.
Yeah.
I can turn $100 into $50 real quick.
Are we marking that, by the way?
Yeah, probably. Yes. Well, he's going to be at the Missouri game, so he'll help you. He can take all that money and buy 2 beers.
There you go.
For it.
Why did you mark
roughly
that?
$100?
I made sure I said your money.
Roughly $100. 2 beers right there.
I was having lunch with a friend of mine yesterday, and he reminded me because once upon a time in one of my previous jobs, I was responsible for managing our tickets at what was then the Sprint Center.
Oh yeah.
And because he had gotten a suite for the NCAA wrestling tournament, and everything for a day, and he was telling me about the tickets and everything like that. And he's like, I was understood how much those cost, but he's then like, how much they charge for like food and concessions, and I was like, oh yeah,
yeah, the ticket's free, but you're not, it's not going to be a free night.
I've paid for that $64 6-pack of Coke, so I know what it's like.
It's like if I got free tickets for tonight, okay, well, what about the parking? What about the it's still going to have to come out, but I do appreciate not having to pay for the ticket to get into the event. That's great.
That's
certainly.
still great.
Yeah, it's still awesome.
Why are they so expensive at places? Part of me,
you're going to pay
monopoly.
It because you're paying it.
Part of me
and the monopoly.
Part of me
one
thinks
vendor.
that they do it at least beer wise, but it doesn't make sense for the food and the soda, so that way people don't get too drunk. I've thought that for a while. Like that's why they don't have like super cheap beers, even because people would buy more.
Yeah, I think the soda should be free. That's just me.
I think here's the thing. I think that it's they charge more because they want money.
Well, I don't know that that's.
And
like it's a good theory. Like I think in theory it sounds good, but I would like to see some more research done on that.
When you do that, then congratulations, you're getting Sterling with a flask somewhere because
Furrow
like
somewhere Furrow. Let's be honest.
Alleged sunscreen that I have.
You pour alcohol into the sunscreen?
It's like this. It's always sunny.
What happens if you get the wrong sunscreen?
The wrong sunscreen, then you're just eating. Well, then that's bad.
Yeah.
That's not good for you. Yeah, the sunscreen one's good. Sometimes you've seen the binoculars.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Where you have that. Yep. Like that's what you're gonna get when you charge too much. Well, not Everclear. I'm
the
trying
moonshine.
to live.
Got the moonshine and the binoculars.
I'm trying to live here.
That's more prevalent. Well, it used to be more prevalent when, because Mizzou did not sell alcohol.
A lot of colleges didn't sell alcohol for so long.
But in the Big 12 days, they allowed you to leave and re-enter.
Correct.
So you could go outside, go back and tailgate at halftime, and halftime in college is like 48 minutes long.
Yeah.
So
we were SEC when I was there. That was the first year of SEC.
Yeah, it just meant more for them.
No,
it just means no exit re-entry is what it means.
No exit re-entry.
And so they also didn't have booze, so that's where the cowboy boots came in handy. Yeah. Little flask down in the.
There you go.
I went to a concert the other day, and they checked your boots.
Oh yeah.
They like give a little squeeze on your boots to see if you had a flask, and I was like, that's a smart idea.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So did you have a flask?
I did not. I'm responsible, Jason.
Is that right?
I would never do that.
Good for you.
I was going to derail at the beginning of the show anyway, but I didn't mean to derail it with this topic.
What were you going to derail it with?
I didn't know if I've ever asked Sterling whether he was a Van Halen, Sammy Hagar, or DLR.
Oh, I love both. I obviously David Lee Roth I think is the way I would lean, but I love both Van Halen with those two guys. They were incredible. I mean, Diamond Dave, outstanding. I love his cover of his solo stuff. Soul Kitchen, which is, I think, a Doors cover.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
I adore the cover, too.
But I love Sammy Hagar solo stuff. Do you know? But both in Van Halen were great. It's the third guy. What was the third guy in Van Halen for the 1 year?
From the guy from Extreme.
Yes. What's his name?
Gary Sharon.
Gary Sharon. Yeah. I'm out on.
Derek's killing it, man. I'm just sitting back listening,
See,
having no idea what you guys are talking about.
Here's the thing: is that
This is like when my son and I talk football, and now I know what my wife feels like when my son and I talk football. When you guys talk Van Halen, Van Hagar.
I'm in the extreme minority in that my ranking: Hagar, Sharon, David Lee Roth.
That's dumb.
But you like extreme.
And actually, I would say like my fourth option would be any David Lee Roth era song with Hagar, and then David.
Why do you not like David Lee Roth?
Just don't like David Lee Roth.
Did he do something to you? What did Diamond Dave do to you?
I mean, other than he just seems like a punk.
Yeah, but he kicks ass.
So does Sammy Hagar, and he's
I don't
not a
disagree.
punk.
Sammy Hagar's awesome. I love Sammy. Sammy Hagar's phenomenal. But the same point, like David Lee Roth.
Sammy's a better songwriter too, so their material during that era was better. But
who would be a better running back for the Chiefs, David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
I'd still take Breece Hall. I'd also take Breece Hall as lead singer of Van Halen and David Lee Roth.
That was the transition.
I can't take
This will get me all the hate.
Pacheco,
tweets,
Kareem
okay
Hunt, or Breece Hall. Who's a better lead singer for Van Halen?
Listen to Rat this morning.
Yeah,
I like Rat a lot. Way Cool Jr. A little slip of the lip.
See, you're going deep because that's a 2-hit wonder right there.
No.
Well, they only had 2 hits.
Well, Round and Round, Way Cool Jr., Slip of the Lip, Lovin' You's a Dirty Job. That was a later version of it, but that was awesome. I like Rat a lot. You don't like? Come on, everyone likes Rat.
Mm-hmm.
We like their 2 songs, but after that,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
And I can't remember the other one besides Round and Round.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with both of you guys on that one. I think you guys are making great points
Saw
on
Sebastian
all of these
Bach
things.
the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
He kicked
major
a lot of ass.
That's right.
Dude, that guy.
And you did sneak the flask in there. That one
did not.
That was great.
Still has pipes.
Matt, why can't the Chiefs just sneak the damn ball into the end zone? Why can't they do that? Why? If it just seems so easy. It just seems so easy, and I feel like if they would have ran right up there to the line of scrimmage and snucked it, pushed it, tushed it.
I always say, I mean, national broadcasters, hey, their knowledge is a mile wide and an inch deep.
One of my funniest from the weekends was that.
You got to know about, all well. You don't have to pay much attention to all 32 teams because some of them you're never going to see because they're so terrible. If you're Tony Romo, but Tony Romo going, all right, now you gotta rush up to the line of scrimmage here and sneak it in.
Yep.
It's like, has he not seen a Chiefs? I mean, I know the guy has he's called as many Chiefs games over the last 6 years as Mitch Holthus has, so he should know the Chiefs don't run the sneak.
Yeah,
I had that listed as one of my funniest from the weekend. I didn't use it, but sitting there in the weekend and coming up with learns and funniest and best.
That cracked me up.
I was like, he said run up and sneak the ball, like, LOL. Like, what are you talking about? I agree, but Tony, it's not going to happen. If he would have said this would be a great spot if the Chiefs did this to just run up and quarterback sneak. They don't do it, so they're going to line up, waste some time. Buffalo's going to get an opportunity to get their big men out there by calling a timeout. And, Buffalo's going to let the time run down and the time run down and the time run down because by the way, Sean McDermott, people argue good coach, bad coach. This was smart by him. He went down to the line judge. He was standing at the goal line.
Yeah,
Sean McDermott was.
Not really technically allowed. But.
Yeah, exactly. But he was standing next to the line judge at the goal line, waiting for the Chiefs to almost snap the ball to call timeout. So the time ran so far down that the Chiefs, with only one timeout left, could maybe only run it once. Had he just ran down there and called timeout, Chiefs could have run it a couple times. Yeah. So that was good clock management by him. The
Chiefs time management by the Chiefs.
Poor Chiefs time management. In fact, looking back, it would have been better for them to immediately call the timeout and have 40 seconds and no timeouts rather than 20 seconds and one.
Yeah,
because then you could run a couple plays. You could run it a couple times.
I think part of the thought process was, fair or not, they assumed they were going to get in, and that's what happens when you assume. But you wanted to take the clock down to give no time for the Bills. And so,
I totally get that. Absolutely.
I actually don't think the Chiefs.
I'm just saying revisionist history.
Yeah, of course. When Hollywood went down, I was thrilled. I go, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
He's down on the half-yard line, which means
the same thing, dude.
you can take the time off the clock. So I actually don't think the Chiefs.
I was the exact opposite. I was like, you need to get that in no matter what.
I know, but
you need that touchdown.
I was
so you
like,
need to get it no matter what.
They're scoring because
no
Kareem Hunt's going to get it. Their run defense sucks, so they're scoring here, and you at least let the clock run all the way down. So now Buffalo's just going to take a knee after you punch this in. Awesome. I just would have liked to see them punch it in.
Yeah.
The mistake was, to me, a couple things, if there is, and maybe this is revisionist history, although at least for one person texting with, my brother was like, he's like, I want them to throw on first down. At the timeout, like, what do we do here? It's like, I throw right here because they're going to expect run, and if you throw it and don't get it, they have to play both now. They have to play the throw and the run, the pass and the run on second down. They can't just go, you ran it on first down, use your timeout. You ain't going to run it, so now we can just sit back and play the pass. I think that would have been a better strategy there. Also, a better strategy, Matt, might have been for Jawan Taylor to block his guy.
That's always an option.
Because on that replay, Kingsley, Creed, and Trey Smith had their guys blocked a yard deep in the end zone. If Kareem gets past Jawan Taylor's guy, and he was trying to get a reach block on Jordan Phillips, maybe that's bad scheme by the Chiefs, but he was trying to get the reach block. Jordan Phillips got to the left shoulder of Jawan Taylor, went up the field, making Kareem Hunt cut back to his right. That's not the play. The play was to the left where they had a wide U-shaped area for Kareem to run into the back of Creed Humphrey and be in the end zone. He didn't get there.
Maybe you remember this off your vision, because I was looking at some numbers today, but I did not go back to watch the video. Do you remember if he was in pistol or shotgun depth?
It was shotgun.
I thought it was shotgun.
Yeah, Kareem was to his right.
I thought it was shotgun depth, and that's the thing. I mean, looking at it, I was surprised looking at the numbers. I mean, Kareem's best numbers are running out of pistol. Second is under center.
Yeah.
Third, shotgun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, once again, that's if you're listening to Mike Frazier, I'm sure Mike Frazier is telling you, okay, well, shotgun's probably the worst formation to run here, but.
And also, to an extent, to Jason's point, Jawan Taylor, his worst attribute is run block. He's pretty solid in pass pro for the most part when he's not having penalties, but run block, right?
And,
so
we've seen him try to get to reach blocks, and he can't get there sometimes.
So when you are running out of shotgun, he's on the right-hand side. That means Jawan.
Now they're running away from him.
They're running away from him. But
the problem is they couldn't get away from him because Jordan Phillips beat him that quick.
If you get beat that quick, you have no chance. If you're running out of under center or even pistol, you can immediately run left off of that because he's behind. I found that, again, I didn't even have a major issue with the run pass. Although looking back now, yes, it does make more sense to pass on first down. But that was my real big issue. Yeah. If you get stopped but you ran out of center or ran under center, okay, tip your cap. Kareem's been great in that all year long. I get it. Running out of shotgun, though, just felt disheartening. It just felt wrong.
Yeah.
And with Kareem's success rate, I mean, I don't want to sound like a homer because I'm not. I don't think I am. But
they call you Homer Derek.
But I like how you sounded right there.
Yeah, I like that. But I'm just like I'm criticizing Andy Reid's play calling here. I mean, I do feel so like who are we? I mean, and Andy Reid's been right much more than he's been wrong in the past. But they've had so much success with bringing in an extra or even two extra linemen. I mean, let's face it. You put two more linemen on the line of scrimmage. You basically just increased.
I think 4
more gaps.
I think they should have brought in Allegretti as a lineman, and then throw the ball to him.
That would have been a good trick.
Yeah, I mean, right? Because you would have had to
plane ticket for him.
Right, he'd had to stay in Kansas City. Right, yeah, that would have been crazy. But they should have done that. Why didn't they do that?
And Wiley maybe too, get both.
Yes,
I would have.
Right, got to catch them all. Right. What was the Pokemon? Who was that to? The Pokemon play, got to catch them all. Which offensive lineman was that to?
No, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Was that in this?
Was that Wanya Morris?
It might have been.
I don't remember the play for Wanya, what it was called, so maybe that's possible.
But it was in the end zone, and it was against the Eagles, and I think it might have been the Super Bowl against the Eagles, and it was sniffed out quickly, so Mahomes threw it away. But it was called "Gotta Catch 'Em All" because whoever it was a big Pokemon fan. Anyway, go ahead.
I'd have taken Rashee Rice in the backfield in the shotgun, and that I mean, I would have taken almost any run play that the Chiefs had other than that play on a shotgun.
They did it earlier. Couldn't they have done something off that, right?
Well, I mean, they got 18 different offshoots of that plan, I'm sure. And one of them, I mean, I'm sure is a pass to Mahomes.
It's so revisionist. I was arrogant because even when he was stopped on first down, I'm like, they're still going to get it. Now they've used the timeout. It's even more time away from the Bills. They're going to get it. So there was a level of arrogance for me. Second down was incomplete, and that's when I was like,
Hubris.
oh, no.
Hubris.
Oh, no.
Okay, so we know it was wrong now.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think Andy learned from that? Because that's what it comes down to. Is that a learning lesson? Is this something
from the play call or the kicking the field goal or both?
I think both, but let's just say next time a similar situation arises, will they pass on first down? Do you think Andy will run under center next time with Kareem Hunt instead of out of shotgun? Do we think that this was a learning process? Because at least that could be a positive. And again, maybe, as you mentioned, go for it on fourth down instead of kicking the field goal. What do you guys think there?
I mean, it needs to be something that you learn from and that you make sure you don't repeat going forward.
Do we think that, though?
I mean, it's one of those things that's like Andy Reid shouldn't be learning new things at 66. But
I mean, I hope.
And I'm not being dismissive in that. I'm like, gosh, I think there's a pretty good chance that he had the same hubris you guys did.
Yeah, that we're going to score.
That it was like first and goal from the one. I mean,
Kareem Hunt.
we got
the Hunt
three. We got 3 or 4, plays that we can score on from here, and that we feel good about. And honestly, and that's the other thing. And I'm like, if you thought that those 3 plays in particular were 3 of your best 2-point plays or fourth down plays, or
he did not.
They were not.
He did not. No, those were we're going to score here. We don't have to show anything.
And this
goes whatever, because they also did because Kelsey was wide open on second down.
And this goes back to again, and I don't think that Andy Reid sandbags. I've said this now. I know I've said this many times this week, so I'll make the caveat because it's going to sound like what I'm going to say is it may sound like that I believe that Andy Reid sandbags, but if Andy Reid has seen something on the Bills film that he thinks that he can exploit, he's going to exploit it in January. He's not going to waste what he thinks is a winning play now versus running it in January.
Unless he feels like it's more of okay, we need this now, because they ran that 4th and 17 protection where they left Bosa alone.
Yeah.
And Bosa turned around like, oh my God, it's got to be a screen, which allowed, was it Trey or Creed or somebody or Wanye to come all the way over on the formation to block him. I haven't seen that before. That might have been something they were specifically setting up for the Bills or Bosa, and it's like, it's 4th and 17. We ain't keeping this in our pocket. We need this. Let's go run this play, this formation, this scheme.
And that, in particular, I mean, let's, just a brief breakdown of, how game plans are built and everything. I mean, you're not normally going to run something that's not on your play sheet, something that you didn't practice during the week.
Yeah.
And, and Andy Reid's got 200 some odd plays, but they're all broken down by situation.
Yeah.
So they had a 4th and long list. I'm sure that was on the list.
Yeah.
That was like, hey, if we end up in 4th and long, down by 1 score, here's the handful of plays that you're going to run in this situation. That was one of them. So I'm sure that they rehearsed that during the week. They worked on that.
Yeah.
And again, with Andy Reid, I will say this for all the criticism we're having of the play calling there in that situation, I do still believe that everything he does is for a reason and with a purpose. And that's why, I mean, the game plan that he put in for Buffalo, there is some chess level game strategy, what's the word phrase I'm looking for here?
There's
game theory.
Game theory, yes, game theory. I was getting there too. No, there's game theory to it.
That he's running specific plays. He's doing things. He's showing specific looks because he wants to put that on film right now. He wants the Bills to see it because he thinks that's something that will work later too. That he can run something now that's going to set up something that have success in the future. Maybe it works now, maybe it doesn't, but. I'm certain that he showed them some unscouted looks that they hadn't seen before. They're going to see him again in January, except the next time the Chiefs are going to do something different.
What did you think of, and then we'll take a break and we'll look at this first half of the season, what you thought about that, and what you think about this team, and then moving forward to the second half. What did you make of the younger players, Cole Bishop and Maxwell Hairston, after the game coming out, and Bishop saying, well, these were the keys and the indicators that we saw on film as to why we were able to do this, and Maxwell Hairston saying, oh, well, we saw on film Xavier Worthy, does this and this when we know the ball is going to him, or if it's a run play. Everybody's got some sort of a tell and a key. You just got to find that, and that's how we knew what was going on with Xavier Worthy. You think Bobby Babich was like, hey, guys, shut the bleep up. We may play them again, jackasses. What are you doing? You don't tell them until the season's over, or you've retired. And then you go back and go, yeah, Xavier Worthy, for 5 years, he had a tell. And we didn't ever say anything, and we didn't care if anybody else picked up on it because we knew it, and we weren't going to tell him. Oh, great, thank you. Thank you, because 1, now you can go back and look. 2, also self-scouting. If that is true that Maxwell Hairston found something that was a key and a giveaway, sort of like Josh Simmons in the preseason with his alignment that we talked about, it's also kind of an indictment on the Chiefs self-scouting to not see that themselves, of where and what he's doing pre-snap to indicate that this is, 1, not going to him, or 2, it's a play that's set up for him, or 3, it's just simply a run play.
I mean, and here's the nice thing about that is that from the self-scouting standpoint, you're going to miss some things. I mean, maybe some other teams picked up on that and just didn't say anything. Maybe, there could be some elements of this.
There's thousands of hours of video review by pitching coaches, and there's still pitchers that tip their pitches that other teams find. So.
Yeah, that you don't find yourself. And, hey, Chiefs have been the victim of this before. Like when they had the horrible special teams game in Tennessee a few years ago,
God.
when they had the block kick.
Yeah.
Did they have 2 blocks in that game? Or I think it was. And that was because they had their cadence and rhythm hadn't changed. And Tennessee picked up on it, and they figured it out. So they were able to jump the snap. And so Chiefs didn't realize they had a problem until somebody exposed it for them.
Right, yeah.
And then you're like, okay, well, Denver and their field goal team is the same way. That's one thing that the Chiefs truly, truly miss. Is Justin Reed was the best film scouter of a player I've ever seen, because he took that job seriously. And he would watch film repeatedly of opponents to see if there was anything that he could pick up to know when that snap was coming. And he, against Denver, he had it. And he saved it until he needed it.
Quickest get off on a field goal.
But it's
unbelievable.
It's all because of the scouting.
Yeah.
It's all because he would watch.
To the point that Broncos fans and Texans fans were complaining he's offsides. To the point of even showing a still shot of Justin Reed moving and ignoring the fact that the ball was moving also. Yeah. Ignoring the fact that, yes, he's across the line. The ball is already between the dude's legs. What are we doing here?
I mean, I've gone back and seen the same thing with Jawan Taylor. Because Jawan goes on the cadence too.
Yeah.
There are times that, he's been flagged for false start, and you go back and you look at it,
and the ball was moving.
He was moving at the exact same time that Creed Humphrey twitched.
That right foot and that football start moving exactly at the same time.
Just because, an official can't see that in real time.
But there are times where he's early. But there are also times, but you're right, that he's been flagged when he hasn't been. But, it's just the NFL officials are really good at their job. And you can review pass interference if the ball is tipped. But
that's not my funniest thing I've heard this week behind Tony Romo.
Tony! All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. The Chiefs at 5-4. What did Matt think they would be before the season started at the bye week, record-wise, but also what they look like? Those are 2 separate conversations. We'll get into that with Matt Derrick. And we'll continue rolling along as to what maybe we will look for in the quote-unquote second half of the season. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. Typically when it comes to football, you don't need added testosterone. But what about when you're not playing football or watching football, or maybe last night you're watching a very sleepy game and maybe you need that little boost that's All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Matt Derrick hanging out with us. You know, Matt, Bill Parcells used to say you are what your record says you are. The Chiefs are 5-4, so they are a 5-4 team because I looked at the standings, and that's their record right now through 9 games. As you look back to the beginning of the season, we did this exercise yesterday on the air, Matt, and we went through the three of us and what we thought the Chiefs would be at the bye week. I had them 7-2. Mick Schaefer had them 7-2. Michael's an idiot and had him 7-2. So stupid. So stupid. He's the only stupid one of us that had him 7. Sterling had him 6-3. So he was close. We all had them losing to Buffalo. Yet coming out of that Buffalo game, it was like, why does this feel like, what the hell? Well, I thought they would lose to Buffalo all season long, and now they're losing to Buffalo? I'm so mad. I'm not going to take it anymore. But we discussed record-wise, obviously not what we thought, but how they look, what we thought. So how do you sort of view the bye week for the Chiefs, which is as close to midway point as you're going to get for a bye week, what record you thought they would be at the bye week, but also what you thought they would look like when they play, and how close to expectations are the Chiefs playing at, and that, number before and after the dash?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think I had them at 6-3 as well.
Okay. Hater.
I thought
so negative.
I mean, I thought I thought they'd be more motivated. I did not think that the Brazil trip was going to have the effect that it did, and that's a whole other topic.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought they'd beat the Eagles. I did not at the beginning of the season think they were going to beat the Bills. But I had them beating Jacksonville.
Yes.
I mean, you're not supposed to lose to Jacksonville. And I keep saying, depending on what this Chiefs team does, we're either going to look back at that Jacksonville game and say, how in the world did they lose that? Or we're going to look back at it and say, oh, yeah, well, now it makes sense that they lost to Jacksonville. But again, they shouldn't have lost that game. I mean, they gave away points. They lost points. I mean, that's a game that they absolutely should have won.
Yeah.
But
that's the one that sticks out. You win that when they're 6-3, and it's like, okay, they're right where you guys thought they were, you and Sterling, and they're one game away from the, me, Mick, and Michael. It's not that bad, but 5-4 just feels like it's a mile trip around the city from 7-2.
And I didn't think they would get here this way. I mean, once again, Andy Reid doesn't like to blow out people, so I didn't know that they would have a couple of really convincing wins. I mean, they probably will. I mean, they probably shouldn't have given up a late touchdown to the Lions. I mean, that should have probably been a bigger margin. They could have shut out the Commanders. They were close to that too. I mean, the Raiders game, I mean, that if Andy Reid was a jerk, that thing could have been 54-0.
Well, his heart goes out to Pete Carroll,
and it should have been at least 38-0. But that's another story too.
Yeah,
I think he should have let the backups score, but your mileage may vary.
But we're also like, that Jacksonville game goes along with what we've seen in Chiefs seasons outside of last year, and that's what made last year so unique, in that some of those losses that we would have scratched our head at the end of the season were wins by the slimmest of margins. But we're not that far removed from 2023 losing to the Raiders on Christmas Day, or 2022 losing to the Colts early in the season with Matt Ryan and going, what the hell? How do you lose to that team that ends up having one of the top picks, in the draft? Like they've done this before, where they've had some of these losses. The difference is, and this is what I thought Jack made a great point after that Jags game, and he said, this is one of those losses that we see every year. The difference is this isn't the third loss through 5 games in previous years past. That's what's different this year. It's that Jags game, but I think they look better. They're playing to the level I thought they would look at, or I thought they would look like at the bye week. They're playing to that level, offense, defense. It's just the record doesn't match what I thought it would be, given if they played at that level.
I mean, totally. I mean, you're looking at the way that this team has performed. And now, once again, I mean, it's all a little bit inconsistent because there's been some really highs and some real lows. And the offense, points-wise, it's a little bit different now. But what I think average-wise, where are they? I'm looking at like right now. I should know. Okay, 9th in average points scored, 4th in defensively. I mean, that's where I thought they'd be defensively. Yeah. And I wasn't sure where they would be offensively because I didn't know how healthy they would be. the receiver situation. I wasn't really sure what they were going to be getting out of Travis Kelce, and I wasn't sure what they were going to be getting out of their offensive line.
Yeah, right.
I think that every one of those groups has outperformed expectations, which makes it even more bizarre that they're 5-4.
Yeah.
But I will throw out one more caveat, and now this depends on the Denver game, which is it's the toughest game remaining on the schedule, just because it's at Denver on the road. That's the only thing that makes it the toughest game remaining on the schedule, and it's steps below the Buffalo game. I mean, and what's the second toughest game on the schedule? I mean, if you're going to say Colts, I'm not sold on the Colts.
I'm not either.
But the Chiefs are they're behind Denver right now. But if the Chiefs sweep the rest of their AFC West games, they're going to win the division. But think about this: if they beat Denver, they're going to be 6-4. That's exactly what they were in 2019 when they won a Super Bowl. So it's not the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I think to me, why it's so hard to
say goodbye,
see where they're playing, and then you see they're 5-4, and you're looking at the defensive numbers, and you said fourth in points given up.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so inconsistent. And that's why they hold a team to 0, yet they also gave up 27, 31 to the Jags, 28. It's the inconsistencies. It is the highs. It is the lows. You're not seeing a lot of average, and I think that's what makes it so hard and why they are 5-4. It's going to skew the numbers when you give up 0 points in a game and when you give up 7 points in a game. You also give up 9 points in a game. That's going to skew it a little bit. You did that, and that's great.
Like that. Isn't that every team, though, typically?
Yeah.
Like, if you're a 300 hitter, like, you're going to have a game where you go for 4, and you're going to have a game where you go, 2 for 4.
But sometimes the guy that's 1 for 4...
That would make you a 250 hitter, I get it, but that's the point.
And sometimes, well, it's like, what would you rather have? The guy that's, either 0-4, and then he goes 2 for 4, or then 0-4, then 2, or would you like the guy that just goes 1 for 4 every single time?
I want the guy that goes 1 for 4 with men on base every single time, and 0 for 3 when the bases are clear. That's what I want, Sterling. Can I get that?
I think that's why you're seeing a team at 5-4. Last year, they were just very consistent. You knew every single game, for the most part, what you were going to get. I think this year, you're just seeing the inconsistencies, offense and defense. You don't really know what you're going to get, and that's why the Bills game was going to be so important. It's why the Broncos game is so important. When you look at these playoff teams, what do? It's great that you hammer the Raiders, but it's the Raiders. It's great that you hammered the Commanders, but that's without Jaden Daniels. The Lions game was one that you did like to see because that was a good team even with the injuries they had.
But I also think, like, we say it's the Raiders. Like, it's the Raiders. Well, the Raiders were coming off a win when they head to Kansas City. They get beat down 31-0. And then they lose by a point in overtime to Jacksonville, lose by a field goal to the Broncos on the road.
Sure.
And they had a field goal that's, within 50 yards, which is, close to a gimme in the NFL these days, that they just missed. Like, because it's the Chiefs, that game on October 19th was viewed as, but it's the Raiders. And the other, the game right before that and the 2 games since then, they won and then lost by a total of 4 points. But they got blown out by 31. So I think there is a little overstatement with, they beat the Raiders that bad, but who cares? It's the Raiders, because the Jags didn't do that and the Broncos didn't do that last night. And there were a lot of people that were like, Broncos big in this game. Broncos are going to roll the Raiders. The Raiders put everything they had into that Jags game. They could have won. They lost. You lose on a 2-point conversion in overtime. That's devastating. Short week, no chance. Broncos rolling. And they couldn't do anything against Denver. Or Denver couldn't do anything against that vaunted Raiders defense that was out there.
And this is my feeling about the whole thing. And Sterling's right. I mean, the consistency.
What?
Clip that. Mark it.
Why would you say
mark
that?
it. I got to give credit where credit's due.
Well, it's the bye week, so it's opposite week. I get it.
There you go. I mean, inconsistency has been this team's Achilles heel to a certain degree. And to me, it's what's causing the inconsistencies. And that's where I feel like we're once again in the pattern of the Chiefs' worst enemy, again, is themselves. And I don't even think that the problems that we're seeing on the field, I don't think that they're all on the field problems. I think a little bit of this is off the field. And
in what way?
I think there's a handful of ways, and one is, I'll tell you, I know people think I'm making excuses for this and everything, and
we'll hear what Matt Derrick's talking about after that. We need to take a break. We'll hear what Matt Derrick has. That's a tease right there.
Well, that is a tease.
We'll hear what Matt Derrick is saying, why those things are going on away from the field, which is resulting in this record. We'll do that next.
That's a tease, but if you want to be pleased, make sure you bust out El Bandito Yankee Tequila, an ultra-premium tequila made from 100% Blue Weber agave from the highlands of Jalisco, Mexico. The length...
looking at, but some off the field, away from the actual between the line games that's going on.
And some of the things you can say are on the field that I'm going to kind of classify as off the field things. But I mean, I'm going to start with Brazil. I mean, once again, that was a brutal trip.
I like starting with Brazil and risk, so we can do that. You can go different places. You can fortify that particular.
There you
one.
go.
Just depends on the card you get. But go ahead.
But I mean, Brazil. Let's face it. The Brazil trip is there's two difficulty levels. There's being the home team and being the road team. Being the home team is still difficult. Being the road team was much more difficult because you're so far from the stadium. You got a lot of logistics to deal with, and the NFL. I mean, and this is going to be even more next year because they're trying to make a decision about this game in Australia with the Rams.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And the Chiefs are a possible opponent for that game.
It should be the Eagles. Jordan Mailata. Easy. Done.
That would make a lot of sense. Originally, I was told that they were going to go ahead and pick another West Coast team. Okay. So at least it was another 2-hour less difference. And it would at least be the same thing. But, I mean, and the fact that then they were discussing about whether or not you give those teams a bye in week 2. Just to recover from it, because that's a trip and a half.
Yeah,
that's not going to London.
You've screwed almost an entire season for a team by giving them a bye in week 2 after playing their first game in Australia.
You'd almost have to give them 2 byes.
And there's like
college football.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why there's also the talk. They've been talking. I think they ruled out Tuesday, but they discussed maybe moving that to Wednesday. So then they got a couple of more days. But here's the thing, and the players. I've not heard a player really complain about it. I mean, they complained about it during the week of. But I've talked to a lot of people behind the scenes that just say that, I mean, everybody's been in catch-up mode since Brazil, but especially like support staff, everything. I mean, because they had to do so much in a short period of time. Going to Germany in like week 9 is still a lot different than going to Brazil in week 1, because you're going from training camp to Kansas City to Brazil in like 3 weeks. And you really don't have – I mean, when you've packed up to go to training camp, you haven't really packed up to go to Brazil yet.
That's true.
I mean, it was a stress, I think, on everybody, players, coaches, like I said, support staff, everybody. And so – and I think it shows in all the teams a little bit. Even last year, I think you could see it in a little bit of teams. And then the Chiefs on top of that, I mean, like the Chargers, what did I say, have had the Raiders in week 2? Mm-hmm. That's another bye. I mean, that's essentially the Chiefs faced the Eagles in week 2. Yeah. That was much higher degree of difficulty. Mm-hmm. So you've got that. I mean, we don't still know the Josh Simmons situation, but that has been an enormous stress on this team and his teammates. I mean, there's no doubt the emotional investment in that and worrying about him and just trying to figure out what's going on and not knowing what's going on. It's been tough for all those guys. So I think that's been a factor. We've seen just frustration from this team. I mean, I think you guys talked about it the other day, like Mitchell Schwartz, breaking down.
The Kareem Hunt run.
The Kareem Hunt run. And we've seen Travis get frustrated. Travis has been frustrated at his teammates. He's been frustrated at himself. We've seen Chris Jones frustrated at Drew Tranquill. We've seen Drew Tranquill frustrated at Chris Jones. I mean,
Kelsey and Andy Reid frustrated each other.
This is like the most successful winning team I've ever seen that probably at this point just needs a clearing of the air. Mm-hmm. That just and maybe the bye weeks come at the exact right time for these guys to get their body right, to get some rest that they all desperately need. Let everybody catch their breath, but they need to figure some things out because again, I say that their biggest opponent is themselves. And if they're not on the same page, I'm not saying I don't see anybody in that locker room that I think is a distraction. I don't think this is a good team. I mean, and it's a team of what seems like good people. You don't have anybody in that locker room that everybody avoids or hates or is a malcontent and makes everybody miserable. You don't have that. So there shouldn't be these kinds of issues, but yet this team looks like there's just things that aren't clicking. And if they don't clear that up, I mean, they're going to lose some games in the back end of this schedule they shouldn't lose. I mean, like I said, I thought they'd be 6-3 at this point. I thought they'd finish 13-4. So at the beginning of the season, thought they were going to go 7-1. Help me with my math on the back end of the schedule. I mean, I still think this team can. If this is a top 5 offense, which it can perform like that, it already is a top 5 defense. There have been inconsistencies, but there's just no reason why this team still can't finish 13-4, 12-5 at worst, but they will lose some games if they continue to have these frustrations going on, and that they're making mistakes because they're either worn out, tired, or, I mean, is there still a little bit of, hey, the real season doesn't start till January, so it doesn't matter? I mean, there might be, but if you put that standings up in the locker room and they all see they're not in the playoffs right now, it might light a fire. Be like, you can't live that way right now.
They should print it off, post it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely putting all those.
You should do it when you go to the locker room next.
Well, I'm not allowed to do it. I'm not allowed to do it, but
put in all their lockers.
If somebody
print it off.
I mean, I'm assuming he's already seen it right now, but I'm assuming that a coach will definitely make sure those clips for Xavier Worthy are in his locker, so he sees them.
Absolutely. There is some news in the NFL. You want to hit the breaking news sounder? I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. It does affect the Kansas City Chiefs, and that is DeForest Buckner, the stud defensive interior player for the Colts, has now been placed on IR with a neck injury that he suffered at the end of the Steelers' loss. He did not travel with the team today to Atlanta, so there was questions about, hold on, what's going on with Buckner, and the Colts have made the announcement he has been placed on the IR, so he'll miss 4 games, which includes the game 2 weeks from Sunday against the Chiefs. That is their, essentially, Chris Jones. He's got 4 sacks already. He's got the second most pressures for an interior defensive lineman this year behind Zach Allen. And that's after he was number 1 before last night's game. So Zach Allen's pressures last night against Geno surpassed DeForest Buckner. So yesterday morning, going into this week, DeForest Buckner had the most pressures for an interior defensive player. And I'm guessing the Chiefs will not face off against Pat Surtain next Sunday because they have the bye week right after that. Do you want to really bring him back? Right, I don't think they put Surtain on the IR because they have the bye. They had 3 games and then a bye, and then a game after that, so they think he'll be good to go at least for that 4th game. But I think it feels a little Pacheco-ish with Surtain of, could he go? Sure, but now we're giving him 2 more weeks of rest before he's good to go. Do we want to push it with Surtain and now hurt the pec even more, and now he's out for the year? So I don't think they'll go up against Pat Surtain. And now they won't go up against DeForest Buckner against the Colts, which also hurts the Colts in terms of winning games the rest of the way. They got Sauce Gardner, but the help on the back end comes from the pressure on the front end, and that guy's a big piece of what the Colts do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and let's face it, no matter how good you are, it takes a while before you fit into a team and everything like that. And so, hey, adding Sauce Gardner, it's not just an automatic fix. I mean, it's going to take a while before that thing meshes. And as we've seen, sometimes it doesn't mesh.
Yeah.
You know.
And also,
i.e. Darrelle Revis. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. Yeah, knock the ball down. Don't bat it back to Marcus Mariota. But we also, we didn't know what was going on. And I'm not saying this is the same thing, but the Ravens defensive tackle that went on the IR for the season.
Matabike.
Yeah, Matabike.
Yes.
All of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like, hey, he's got this neck injury and he may not play. And then he was placed on IR, and then he's out for the season. This is a neck injury that they've immediately, he comes out of the game and they've ruled him out already for this week, and now he's on the IR. That's a pretty quick roll of, they didn't even wait till Sunday of, let's see, give it a couple more days. Do we really want to play someone? No, he's on the IR. He's going to miss the next 4 weeks. Again, neck injuries aren't something that you typically go, well, let's push it here.
Yeah. That's typically like a 4 to 52-week injury.
Yes, and it is for Matabike that he's out for the year. Hopefully that's not the case for Buckner, because I hate injuries. I want everybody to be fully healthy and play. Let's see who the best team is. But we know the NFL is also about a war of attrition. So there's the news. What do you think the Chiefs' final record is, Matt, if you're throwing a dart right now? They said 5-4. Do they get to 12 wins, 12-5? Is it more likely to be 11-6, that they drop a couple along the way, or are they 13-4?
Well, I mean, I'm going down with this ship.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I said 13-4 at the beginning of the season. I'm going to stick with 13-4.
Love it.
I mean,
don't back away from a fight.
They could stumble 12-5, but these next 2 games, if they win these next 2 games, there's no reason why they shouldn't run the table.
Yeah, I mean, you can make a case that I don't know that I would, but somebody could make a case that their 2 toughest games remaining are at Denver and home for Denver.
And,
in theory.
You could. Although, I don't know if you saw this last night. Did you see Bo Nix's EPA in that game last night?
Was it really good?
-10.
What? That's weird.
Yeah,
that's odd.
Incredible.
So see, it's not to me. It's not so much about whether or not Pat Surtain plays. It's more about the fact that Bo Nix is going to play.
Yeah. So you shouldn't have minus your number on an EPA.
If
for anybody, even if you wear one, you shouldn't have minus.
EPA is worse than if you just look like a kneel down every play. That's a problem.
He was a problem. And by the way, that interception was on him, not on Troy Franklin. He overthrew Cortland Sutton. Thank you, Matt Derrick.
Thank you.
Gamma next.
Plus, he spent 15 years looking at it upside down. He knows exactly how many times the ball will rotate on a long snap, and he'll juggle anything you throw at him. It's Kendall Gammon in the Zone. Brought to you by Crown Toyota and Crown Volkswagen. Recognized as the #1 place to buy a new or pre-owned vehicle. Visit crownautomotive.com to see the latest deals. Experience the Crown difference.
Thank you to Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest. 41 is the Mike podcast. And that Chiefs Digest 2 hours, 2.5 hours, sometime marathon on Tuesday nights that you hear from Matt Derrick on the Twitter. If you're missing it, you're stupid. I don't know if that's good. Maybe you're busy. I don't know. Thank you to Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. Let's talk with Kendall Gammon, the world's greatest long snapper, joins us here in the Zone, presented by Crown Toyota and Crown Volkswagen. Kendall, what is up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jason. How about yourself?
I am doing just fine. I always like to find out what the weekend plans are for Kendall Gammon. You got a bye this week. At least the Chiefs do have a bye. Your Pitt State Gorillas don't have a bye this week. But what's on the docket for Kendall Gammon?
You know what? I know that we are going to go to Thunderdome. That's Jason Sudeikis who hosts that. Steps of Faith, where they raise funds and buy prosthetics for folks who can't afford them. So just a great thing. So we'll be at that. Had a dance lesson yesterday. I don't know if I've told you guys, but I've been taking dance lessons for like the last 4 months. So just having some fun.
All right. So what are the dance lessons? Is this ballroom dancing? Is this jazz? Is it tap? What are we doing?
Yeah, it's ballroom dancing. I'm taking it up at Briarcliff, the Fred Astaire Dance Studio, and they've just been great. I've always wanted to do it. It's kind of funny. I'm around some guys and the couples, and I'll talk about it, or we'll talk about it, and then my wife Paige will say, "Well, Kendall's the one that wanted to take it, and then pushed us to do it."
Nice.
And it's funny. The guys look at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" I mean, they don't realize it's a great time. But it's rumba. Let's see, rumba, waltz, tango, salsa. East Coast swing. So just learn all those things, and it's just something. I'm kind of an arts guy. I was in the spring musical in high school all 4 years, and the show choir and things like that. So it's always been a love of mine.
Did you think that maybe if you didn't play football was performing? I know you juggle and you do some of those things.
Juggle.
So you are you have that performing spirit in you. Would that have been the career path for Kendall if football didn't work out?
I don't think so. No, I'm a juggler. I have juggled center ring for Ringling Brothers twice, believe it or not.
Amazing.
But I do not think that was an option. No. So I think it's a good thing that we could bend over and throw a ball between our legs for 15 years.
You know what? You performed on the football field. You were in the arena a lot in your life, so you know what that's like. Do you have a favorite of the dances, the rumba, the waltz, the tango, salsa, East Coast swing? Is there a favorite that you enjoy?
I'm really enjoying East Coast swing, but I don't know. I'm surprised how much I love tango and waltz. Those
sounds like a great buddy cop film. Tango and waltz.
Exactly right. Yeah. And I know Sterling's probably drooling, and I wish he could make some comments right now. But I'm sure I'll get him the next time I'm in studio. But it's just they do a great job up there. We're paying for them. We're going there, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you're thinking about doing something, I haven't been to other studios, but I know this one up in Briarcliff, Fred Astaire Dance Studio. They do a great job.
That's really cool. And you say we're going, so I was going to say, pardon my ignorance, but I'm assuming it's you and your wife. You're not just off on your own saying, you know what, honey, I'm taking ballroom dance lessons, and I'll surprise you the next time we go out ballroom dancing. But it's you and your wife doing that?
It is. I think if it was just me going without her knowing, I think we'd all be more than a little bit surprised.
Well, you couldn't do the tango, if you don't have somebody with you, because I've heard it takes two.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It'd just be doing the top.
That's exactly right. That is amazing. Kendall Gammon is our guest. Does it? People have talked about dancing and like Michael Jordan doing different things as a young child that maybe helped out the coordination. And I do wonder how much, my wife and I have talked about maybe we should have had like Everett in some dance lessons earlier, because he lacks some coordination and some explosiveness and some footwork from time to time in basketball. I'd have to imagine that, it's something that would be very beneficial for players in any sport if you were, taking dance lessons.
There's no question about it. You can even go all the way back to the Steelers in the 70s. Lynn Swann, they talked about it, how he took ballet and he credited that with a lot of his jumping and everything. But, I took gymnastics, I want to say 7 or 8 years growing up. So I think that was a big thing for me as well. So I think you're exactly right. And I think the athletes are training better now than they used to, and they are incorporating like Pilates and yoga into things, but they didn't when I was playing very much, and I think it's a huge thing. You learn body control, and I would really challenge any player to really do an East Coast swing dance for 4 minutes and see how you feel. It'll get you going.
Amazing. So, you as a young child, you're a football player, but you're, in the spring festival, you're, dancing, you're performing, you're taking gymnastics for 7 or 8 years. What's the influence around you to where you were that well-rounded? Because typically a random, boy wouldn't be like, let me take gymnastics, let me dance, let me do this. And also like football and other sports, a lot of times it's, all right, I'm football, I'm basketball, I'm baseball, and I've got all these other things that I'm doing that I don't have time for these other extracurriculars. What's the influence as to how Kendall Gammon was, let's be honest, so well-rounded?
I think I was kind of made to take gymnastics, and then I kind of learned to love it, and I realized that it was kind of an athletic side, not kind of, it's absolutely an athletic side of things, so I thought that was good. The piano I was forced to take. At the time I didn't want to. Finally won and stopped taking piano lessons after 5 or 6 years. But it still served me well. But I say it all the time. I've never met a 40-year-old who said, "Damn it, I wish I couldn't play the piano." So
right.
I wish I had stayed with that. But I don't know. I've just always liked to be involved in a lot of things. So
awesome.
Even in high school, I was out for baseball in spring, and then from baseball practice, I would go to track practice, and from track practice, I'd go straight to the spring musical practice. So it's just one of those things. I like being involved in a lot of different stuff.
Unbelievable, man. And kids, if you want to know how driven you have to be to make it in the NFL, that's how driven you have to be for whatever you're attacking. Attack it full force, 100%. Put your all into it, and you get out of it what you put in. And that's amazing, man, thinking of all of those things you did on a daily basis, to baseball, to track, then to the spring performance. Like, that's a full workload, Kendall.
For me, I just like to stay involved with things. I like to be around people. And so for whatever reason, and, at times, some people that hear me speak, sometimes I talk about some touchy subjects. And so sometimes it was also to kind of, quite honestly, be away from home.
I know.
So, everything has a purpose.
Yeah, no, it's, and those that know your story know that that's certainly a part of it, but it got you to where you are now, and we can hopefully take those lessons and become better for it, and I know that you certainly have. It's one of the coolest things about you.
And ultimately, it culminated me talking with you on Fridays for 30 minutes, so it worked out well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it is. There's the ultimate payoff right there, was to talk to me on a Friday. Kendall Gammon is our guest. We talked to you on a bye week. Do you guys have? Did you guys have a tradition or something you guys did when you played when the bye week came around? Did you get out of town? Did you just take it easy? Was it find someplace warm? What did you guys do when it was the bye week?
It's kind of funny. Back then, we never had the whole week off. I remember being very excited if we got Friday off, but otherwise, and we got either, if it's a Sunday game, we got our Monday off or our Tuesday off. But then we practiced 2 or 3 days. So if we got a Friday off and had a 3-day weekend, we were ecstatic. And I think now people have come to the realization that it's really good to let the guys get away from town, let them recuperate physically. But I say it all the time. You've heard me say it. More importantly, recoup mentally and emotionally, and be able to get away from the pressure cooker for just a little bit.
Do you think there's something to, Matt Derrick in the previous segment, we were talking with him, and, he was sort of discussing the different things that he's looked at as to, the Chiefs have played a certain way to get to 5-4. The record doesn't necessarily match what, certainly for me, they're playing close to what I thought they would play like, but I didn't think they would be 5-4. And he had mentioned some things off the field and this, and he's like, the Simmons thing has been something the team is dealing with and the players are dealing with. But he also said, there was a decent portion that he looked at and said was that trip to Brazil, that he said he feels like, from what he has heard being around the team, that there is a level of just sort of exhaustion that they have been playing catch-up since getting back from Brazil, and then week after week after week after week that they just needed to go recharge, reset, get away so that you can catch up after the week by week by week when you get started off with essentially Sunday night, you got terrible sleep. And now you got the rest of the week to try to catch up. And eventually you get to Friday and go, okay, thank goodness I can finally catch up on sleep. That's probably what I would compare it to. You think there's something to that where the Chiefs with that trip to Brazil, the 2-hour bus ride game day there and back, traveling 14 hours, there, 14 hours back, having the Eagles the very next week when you get back as well, and the schedule being what it was front-loaded. Do you think there's something to that to where it just led to just get a break, and they've been trying to catch up in terms of energy this year?
Yeah, I was listening to you all talk about that before I came on today, and I thought that he made a good point. I don't know if it lasts this long, although I think he's on the inside and he hears some things. I would hope that you could recover after 2 or 3 weeks, but I do think there's absolute validity to the fact for the first couple weeks, you're still trying to play catch up with your body and figure things out. And the point you talk about with us playing the Eagles as opposed to the Chargers playing the Raiders is a valid point as well. So you also talked about the fact, and I heard about it a while back as well, that we are certainly in the range of possibility for being the first game in Australia next year if we're the away team against the Rams. And if so, that would be a really, really difficult one as well. So that being said, it's not going to change. I mean, the NFL, I say it all the time, and, their motto is, I don't want the world, I just want your half. And they're in business, and I understand it. I think we would all be doing the same thing. And it's just part of what happens when you're on top of the mountain and everybody wants to see you. You're going to be showed off as much as possible, and that's what's happening with the Chiefs, I believe.
Yeah, the home games for the Rams next year, one of these teams will be their opponent in Australia. Their divisional games, obviously, with the Seahawks, 49ers, Cardinals, and then non-divisional games, Cowboys, Giants, Chiefs, and Chargers are the games that are home games for the Rams. So it would be one of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one of those 7 teams that are home games for the Rams will be the game they play in Australia. Here's to hoping that is not the case for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kendall Gammon is our guest, presented by Crown Toyota, Crown Volkswagen. All right, Kendall, what's it mean for the Chiefs that Josh Simmons is back in the building? And do you think being away from the team, maybe as opposed to an injury or something like that, do you think he will be ready to play a week from Sunday, showing up back to the facility on Monday this week?
I do think he'll be ready, and I think it's good that it came in a bye week. So, his bye week will probably be quite a bit different than a lot of others because he's trying to get back into football shape and do some different things. I'm glad he's back for a number of reasons, probably more so. I'm sure he's glad he's back. I bet he feels very good being around the guys again, and I'm sure that was a difficult time for everything going on, and I'm sure there's plenty of support. But, going back to these games that the Chiefs have lost without him and him not being there, I think that was the biggest factor, and I don't think I'm exactly, splitting atoms there when I say that, but I think it's a huge deal, and had he been there, I think the record would be better, but, he's going to be fresh and got to get back there, and I think he's a proud person and player and expects a lot of himself, and this really could spur him on to do even bigger and better things, I think.
Yeah, visiting with Kendall Gammon. He is presented by Crown Toyota and Crown Volkswagen. At the bye week, is how close is the Chiefs' record to what you maybe thought it was going to be, and then what they actually look like when they're playing? Because the dash, if you told me what the dash looks like, I wouldn't have expected the 5 and then the 4 on either side of the dash.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think that I predicted, but as I remember, I think I probably would have expected 6-3, and I might have been optimistic at 7-2. I don't know. I just thought they had it going. But they're the best 5-4 team maybe in the history of the league, and in my estimation. And getting Josh back and just getting their feet under them. I mean, this is really a nice time for the bye. You can't be exactly in the middle of the season, or else you've got to stop at halftime and take a week. So 9 games in, I think it's perfect for them. I don't think it would be unbelievable at all for them to go on a run and get them all. I think they've got the capabilities, and I think maybe you guys talked about it, either you, Matt, or Sterling, which is, their biggest opponent, I believe, is themselves. I mean, when they're hitting on all cylinders, I think they're better than anybody in this league. That doesn't happen all the time, and they can still drop some. But I just think this is a team that the ceiling right now is still way up there because we've seen it flash. It just needs to get more consistent.
Kendall Gammon, our guest, presented by Crown Toyota, Crown Volkswagen. Kendall, appreciate the time. No prediction for this weekend. Next week, we'll talk to you as leading up to that Broncos and Chiefs game. And, of course, Kendall, leading up to that Gorilla Bearcat game out at Children's Mercy Park a week from tomorrow. So I am not overlooking Missouri Western, although I think they probably can. I'm just joking. I'm not overlooking that, but just saying, previewing, our next conversation, Kendall, will be leading into that matchup. So that's all.
Well, you can be thinking about what bet we're going to have on this game. I think that makes for good fodder. And the one thing that I will get this week is better at dancing.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Get that East Coast swing going, man. I'm going to look up what that is and see what you're talking about and how difficult that thing might be. So I think you might have talked some people into, doing that. You know what? Getting some exercise, learning a new skill, connecting with your wife or your significant other. All of those things sound like fun,
Yeah, I think go up there and ask and tell them Kendall sent you, and I think they will still let you come and dance, even though you said that.
$100 a class. Kendall sent us.
Yes.
$150 a class. Damn it. Kendall, appreciate it as always, brother. We'll talk next week.
Sounds good. Take care.
Absolutely. There's Kendall Gammon. He is presented by Crown Toyota, Crown Volkswagen, the world's greatest long snapper. Crown Toyota, Crown Volkswagen recognizes the number one place to buy a new or pre-owned vehicle. Visit crownautomotive.com to see the latest deals. Experience the Crown difference. I got to look up this East Coast swing, this dance. Sterling, you take many ballroom dance lessons?
No. Are you just doing the Uptown Philly back again?
No.
That's the East Coast swing.
East Coast. Nope, that's not the case.
Okay.
But Kendall, who is taking dance lessons with his wife and has been taking dance lessons and is learning the rumba, the waltz, the tango, the salsa, and the East Coast swing, and said, challenge any NFL player to do the East Coast swing for like 4 minutes and tell you how much better shape you can be in by doing that. And then certainly talking about other players that have taken dance, and Kendall, growing up, being a performer, being in the spring musical and plays and piano lessons, taking gymnastics for 7 years, Kendall Gammon did, and dance lessons as well. I mean, no wonder the guy was like, a big, deer on the field while a bear of a man, just prancing around there, just dancing all over the place while he's snapping the football between his legs. That's gymnastics. Him upside down, he's perfectly fine with it because he's been tumbling most of his whole life.
There you go.
That's what the deal is right there. I don't know that I've ever met a more well-rounded dude when it comes to different things. Played baseball, played football, played basketball, was in the spring performance every year in high school, gymnastics, dance, and piano.
It's like him and Bo Jackson.
Yeah, and he still. It's a great point though, because I'd always wanted to learn the piano. I'd always wanted to take piano lessons, and he said, hey, I took piano lessons for that long, hated it at the time, wish I wouldn't have stopped. But you never meet a 40-year-old that goes, man, I wish I didn't know the piano, which is true. Because at 4, I'd be like, you know what? Here you go. It was one of the coolest things, and I was so jealous. One of my buddies that plays the piano, right? Already a good-looking dude, basketball star. Just what a jerk, right? We were in high school.
Are you talking about me?
Nope.
Oh.
I said good-looking and basketball star. Jerk, yes.
Okay, there we go.
We show up to a place. It's like we were at a wedding or something, right? And most of us were single at the time. And this guy walks up to this piano that's in the lobby and just flips it open and just starts playing. And I'm like, you're an AH. You know that? Like, you've already got the other. Like, there's a lot of us over here that are just trying to grasp some bread, all right? They're throwing bread into the crowd. We're hungry. May I please have a piece of bread? Any crumbs in my, please? Please. And he's up there just, steak. I get more steak. I'll throw you some steak down there. I'll chew up the steak and throw it at you like you're a little birdie. I'm like, what a jerk. You just show up and just start playing the piano. There are girls here seeing this, you jerk. I know that's the point, but I'm not a fan of it. I'm just saying, it's ridiculous. So that's when I'm like, well, I'm going to hang out more with him because if there's some breadcrumbs fall that night.
Yeah.
Then,
You'll get the crumbs.
Please, may I have just a little bit more, please? I want some bread. What a jerk. That was Kendall Gann is what I'm saying. Kendall Gammon was the guy that would just show up and start playing piano. Dude, you already play baseball and football and basketball. What the hell, man?
Yeah, I play drums. They don't really have many drum sets just sitting around. That's the one that is
this guy again.
Yeah, they have the brass platoons in the lobby, brass beds in the rooms.
It's like, what am I supposed to do? Like a guitar, you might find a guitar. If I could sing, that'd be
sitting
great.
Around.
You could just sing.
No, the only instrument, you're right, the only instrument you can ever find just sitting around at a place in public that you can walk up and start playing is a piano.
Yes.
It's the only thing.
At least if you could sing, you could just belt out some vocals. That'd be kind of cool.
Because if there's a stage and there's like a guitar or a drum set or something, that's probably somebody else's that they're up there performing or like taking a break.
Yes.
Guys, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in 10. Let me go check out this guitar. Let me go just tune this guitar to my clicking on the little things on the floor, whatever those things mean.
That's why you always feel bad for tuba players. There's never just a tuba sitting there for them.
I play the clarinet. Nobody has. I've got one in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Is that a clarinet or are you just happy to see me? Both.
It
is
a clarinet. Yeah.
Yep. And let me wet this reed. Again, clarinet or happy to see me? Kendall's the man. And he juggles.
Maybe he plays tuba too. Who knows?
And he's been center juggler for Ringling Brothers multiple times.
Wow.
And he's been center in snapping the football to punters and kicker or holders and punters plenty of times. He's used to being the center of attention. He's the man. He's Kendall Gammon. He's the world's greatest long snapper. The world's most well-rounded guest on the zone. The world's most well-rounded guest on the zone. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, and we will go through our offensive player of the year, 15, our defensive player of the year, our rookie of the year, our most surprising and most disappointing players the first half of the season for the Chiefs. We'll get into some college football as well. Mizzou with a big one against A&M, KU, Arizona, North Carolina, and KU tonight. The Jayhawks installed as the 1.5 underdogs. Bill Self back against the wall. The underdogs, 2 undefeated teams matching up at Chapel Hill. Neither team has experienced a loss this year. Darren Peterson, the number 1 pick in the draft, going up against what is regarded as one of the greatest freshman recruiting classes we've ever seen at North Carolina. You can't paint a crazier picture, and there will be 30 people nationally that will be watching it outside of North Carolina and Kansas. Because it's college basketball in November, but I'll be watching it, damn it, because I'm pumped for it. We'll take a timeout. More Zone next. there's only like 70 games left in the All-Star after the All-Star break. But we'll go through our bye-week players, defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year, rookie of the year, who the surprise player is, and who the player that is probably disappointing so far this year. So, shall we get into it?
We shall.
Shall we? Yes, we shall. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start with you know what? Let's start with offensive player. Should we start with offensive player? That seems like it might be an obvious one. Or do we want to do offensive player not counting number 15?
Let's do offensive player not counting 15.
Oh, well, shoot. I didn't give much time on the offensive player because I just put 15. You guys go first.
Okay. I'm going Creed Humphrey.
What? Yeah, that's what I wrote down, too. Anyway.
Creed Humphrey is the best center in football. He's been amazing this year. It's incredible the production that he does at a position that is sometimes overlooked, and the connection that he has with Patrick is paramount to the. Again, we go back to like Jeff Saturday and Peyton Manning, and this is the Jeff Saturday Peyton Manning connection right now. And yeah, Creed Humphrey does not have a single aspect of his game with any warts. I mean, it used to be snaps that sometimes would go a little low. Well, he's fixed that.
There are a few.
Every once in a while.
He's not rolling him back there like at times he
is the best center in football to me by a wide margin. So for me, if we're not saying 15, probably say Creed Humphrey.
Michael?
If we're not saying 15.
Yeah, not
Creed
saying 15.
Is probably the correct answer. I almost want to say Kingsley just based on how impressed I am of him. He has taken a huge leap from year 1 to year 2, but I mean, Creed Humphrey's the best center in football. It's got to be him.
Yeah, I wrote down Mahomes and then Creed. Because Mahomes is the answer, right? Obviously, because he's the best player. He's the franchise for the Chiefs. But outside of Mahomes, like, yeah, it's Creed Humphrey. Because is it Rashee Rice? No, he's only played a couple games. Is it Xavier Worthy? Well, no, he missed a couple games. And he hasn't really played the way that I was, hoping he would look like this year. It's not Hollywood, right?
Kelsey could be the answer. He's leading all tight ends in receiving yards, but I think the difference is he's also had 2 back-breaking.
I was going to say, yeah, that came into the equation when I was thinking Kelsey, and I'm like, I can't. He's had those interceptions that have been there. He's, been productive, much more productive than he was last year, but it doesn't make him like the first half player of the year in my mind.
I'd agree.
This. So let's go to the defensive player of the year. Defensive player of the year. Michael, you'll lead off on this one because Sterling led off. Sterling led it off last time.
Defensive player of the year. Well, it's definitely not Chris Jones.
Yeah, I can go first if you want me to.
Honestly, I'll give it to Brian Cook. I think he has been phenomenal this year.
I like that. Okay.
I like that a lot.
Cook shows up in a different place for me, at least part of a conversation in a different place. Mine's McDuffie. Trent McDuffie has been so good that, he's helped out the fact that the defensive line is not getting a lot of sacks. You can move him around different places. He's the best player on defense. And I think currently, even with Chris Jones being named, McDuffie's playing like the best player on this defense. There are years past, certainly, when it's like McDuffie's the best player after 95. But I think he's playing like that. Who do you got, Sterling?
Yeah, I went back and forth. Brian Cook, I had 3 guys that I was going between. Brian Cook, Trent McDuffie, and Jalen Watson. Jalen Watson's played great ball all year long. He's been a little underrated, in my opinion. I think McDuffie's the answer, but I think Jalen Watson deserves a lot of credit for what he's done because he is playing like a legit. I think a lot of teams would say he could be their CB1. I mean, the way he's played this year, it's been great to watch. He's a little bigger bodied than McDuffie, and obviously the contract year, so we'll see what happens. But I think Jalen Watson, injuries have been an issue for him, and he's healthy this year, and he's playing at such a high level. I've been very impressed with Jalen Watson, and again, I just feel like he's not getting enough love for how great he's played.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I thought the defensive player and offensive player of the year would be easier conversations.
I think McDuffie's the answer, but again,
I thought Creed, but I like Brian Cook being thrown in. I like Jalen Watson being thrown in. Those are the players that I had thought about as well. Let's get into Rookie of the Year. So Rookie of the Year, there's really only a couple to choose from. I'll go first on this one. I went Noel Williams because I would have gone Josh Simmons, but he left the team for 4 weeks. Personal reasons, family issue, all of those things. Yeah, I get it. Those are things that take place. Noel's been there all year. He's played at a pretty decent level. If you're just looking at games where the particular players played in, Josh Simmons is playing at a higher level.
Sure.
Noel Williams got his first start, played a lot of plays in that game against Buffalo. Maybe there were some issues there. That pass to Dalton Kincaid for the 40-something yards that Tranquil was the one trailing. They were in a zone. That might have been Noel Williams didn't drop far enough back in the zone, and that's why it was so open, and Tranquil saw that as Kincaid crossed his face, and so on the game broadcast, you see Tranquil chasing and going after Kincaid. Is like, good God, Tranquil again. Might have been Noel, but I just think this 4 weeks ago, going into the Lions game, this would have been an easy answer. It would have been Josh Simmons, easy with a bullet. I just think missing 4 games, not injury related. I'm going to go Noel Williams. Who you got, Sterling?
Yeah, it's tough. Again, it's between those two. And Noel, I think, has kind of like Gelati to an extent. I feel like came on so strong. We were all so excited. Kind of for Rashard Smith, too. And it's evened out a little bit.
Yeah.
Noel is still playing. I still like him on the field. I still think that it's a great draft pick. But I think we're starting to see a little bit of the, again, maybe the rookie moment, if you will, with him and Drew. That may, and he had a couple of those against, why am I drawing a blank? Against the Bills. He had a couple of moments against the Bills where I thought, feels like he might be in the wrong spot, or at least got lost. I think I'd still go Josh Simmons because he had played at such a high level. But you're right. If you say no, I don't disagree.
And I'm not really going to argue much against Josh Simmons either, because he's played like the easy Chiefs Rookie of the Year when he's been out there. It hasn't been a question at all, because obviously it's not either of the defensive linemen that they took in the second and third round. It's not Jalen Royals. It's not Bossa, The only other choice, there's 3 choices. It's Simmons, Noel Williams, or Rashard Smith, and there hasn't been nearly enough from Rashard Smith to say that it's in there. So I wouldn't argue against Josh Simmons, because he's been worth every ounce of that first-round draft pick and more when he's played. Michael, who you got?
I think it's pretty clear the answer is Noel Williams.
Wow, in
for
your
a couple
face,
reasons.
Sterling.
Because your preseason prediction?
For everything that you just said, but also he was my preseason Rookie of the Year.
There it is. So it's an easy one. Good call, Sterling.
Yeah, I knew where he was going with that one.
I did not. I'm like,
can't
okay.
believe that one has worked out so well.
Yeah. Mine was Simmons, so we'll see.
Darcy's smart.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to write something down here for a bonus question for the next segment. Hold on. Let me
What are you writing, a paragraph? Come on, Tolstoy.
Yes, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. All right, let's get
Nice
into
job, Dickens.
Okay, thank you. It's Richard. Let's go to our surprise player. Who's the player that has surprised us the most or played better than you thought he would be? I guess that's the same thing as a surprise. Sterling, you lead us off on this one. Who is it?
There's a lot of answers here I think you can go with. I've gone back. I think Brian Cook was a really strong choice. Jalen Watson, again, I think was a strong choice. But the obvious one is, to me, the right one. Kingsley Suamataia, because at least Brian Cook, we knew of a floor, right? We at least had a floor to go off of, and he's playing elite right now. Kingsley Suamataia, we had no idea what the floor would be. We thought it might even be a Ben Sheen, or it might be Caliendo in there. It could have been Jalen Moore in there.
We were talking about, should we see Jalen Moore get some reps in the third preseason game at left guard?
And Kingsley Suamataia has played really, really good. And again, I try my best to give him as much credit as possible, because we ripped on him. And maybe not just, I'm not saying I was ripping on him personally, but it's like Chiefs Kingdom and a lot of media, and it was lauded as a bad pick. And what are you doing? He can only play 2 games, and it's a disaster. And I just got to give him a lot of credit for blocking the noise out and being a damn good left guard.
Yep, 100%. And, that's...
following Joe Tooney.
Yeah. Well, right, that's exactly right. And one of the things that I talked about in the offseason was, when they drafted Kingsley, it was like, oh, man, they got this guy in the second round. He's a potential, really good left tackle. It's going to be some development along the way. But, this guy, and then they place him as the starter throughout the preseason, and in training camp, and it's like, okay, they really like this guy. And then he went out there and played like he did against the Bengals, and he got benched. And at that point, it was like, oh, my God, what a bust of a pick. You drafted this guy to be a tackle, and he's that bad? And what I said this offseason is, what if they had drafted him to be a guard? And he played behind Tooney and Trey Smith, and it was like, well, we're going to try him at tackle, but he's really one of our guards of the future because we don't think we'll be able to keep Trey and Joe Tooney. In fact, we're probably not going to be able to re-sign Trey Smith. So we think Kingsley is our right guard of the future, but we're going to try him out at tackle. We would have gone into this summer and training camp like, okay, well, now he gets a shot at guard. And playing like this, if he continues to play at this level as a guard, that's a perfectly fine draft pick in the second round.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine draft pick. Trey Smith was a 6th rounder because of the injury issue. He would have been a 2nd-round guard pick.
It was the first 3 weeks, too, that Kingsley struggled, and then from week 4 on, he has been really, really good.
Yeah, I have no issues when Kingsley's out there on the field. No issues. And that was a big concern that I had with this team is what would Kingsley look like? Are you taking a step back at left guard to get better at left tackle? But how big of a step back at left guard are you going to take? You can't have a guy that loses quickly.
He's given up 7 pressures in the last 6 games.
Yeah.
7 total in 6 games. I mean, I'll look up, see what Trey Smith has done. And he even would
have
have
a rough game this past week against the Bills. He might have given up 7 in that game alone. But
yeah, so that might be a little unfair.
It's exaggeration. But
also,
what's how much is the back injury bothering Trey Smith? That it was like, hey, we've got the bye. You can't hurt it worse. See if you can go out there and perform against the Buffalo Bills. Michael, who you got?
It's Kingsley Suamataia. And I think the biggest surprise is that he has taken that next step, and he's not just an average player. Like, he is an above-average left guard, and you're seeing the Chiefs' running game go to that left side, and that's something that, they were doing with Joe Tooney, but now you've got 2 guys on the left side that you feel pretty confident are maulers in the running game.
Yeah, I think not only, there was a conversation during training camp and preseason games where it's like, can Kingsley be someone that can just be a Band-Aid at left guard? You've got a stud center, and if Josh Simmons grows into being a stud left tackle and the Chiefs have found their answer there, and he's the last left tackle, their main guy starter that Patrick Mahomes will ever have in his career, you can get by with piecing together that left guard with Kingsley. He's gone from a Band-Aid to an answer. Yeah. And that's what I think has been just such a great development for this team, that when Simmons is out there, Trey, Creed, those guys playing, Jawan Taylor when he's playing better than he did against the Bills, this offensive line has given Mahomes time to throw, and that's why he has put up MVP-type performances. There was that regression against the Bills that took place. All right, disappointing player this year. We started with Sterling, so Michael.
I think it's Chris Jones. I think it's Chris Jones for a variety of reasons. And he's still a good player. He's just not the great player that he was last year. And I think right now he's 4th in pressures among defensive tackles. And when you're paying him to be the best, that hurts.
I thought Chris Jones would be the answer so I went different. I actually went with Xavier Worthy as my disappointing player because right now, I said this on Monday, Sterling, right now, I don't know that there's much of a discernible difference between Worthy and McCole Hardman from what I'm seeing in actual production and play, and I'm tired of Xavier Worthy fading away from the football and not attacking it and tracking the ball down the field, and a guy is pass interfering against you, and you're just jogging along with him and not fighting back for the football, which will create the actual flag. The referee is not going to throw the flag if you just run along with him.
Yeah.
When that guy is face guarding you and pushing you and he's not looking back, you've got to be smart enough to do that. When you're fading away from the football on a crosser and you fade back to the safety that comes in to knock it away, instead of taking a half-yard step closer and snatch the ball, like, you got to be, and the way they're using him, like, it feels very McCole Hardman-esque right now. So I thought they would be getting way more out of X with Rice on the field and Hollywood on the field, and that's just, he's kind of just been a guy. With Rice on the field, it's been like, oh, Xavier Worthy's there too.
Yeah.
I thought there would be a Rice is there, and oh, by the way, hey, Xavier Worthy's there too. Good luck. But it hasn't been there. It's been, oh, yeah, the Xavier Worthy's there too. They handed it off to him. A little swing pass to him. That's cool. So, yeah, I went Xavier Worthy. Sterling?
Yeah, I had 2 guys. Chris Jones, again, he's good, but they counted on him being elite. And he didn't go from elite to great or elite to, like, top 3. He went from elite to good, and that's, I think, a big issue in the defensive line. And also in the defensive line, Charles Omenihu. I think we were counting, and the Chiefs were counting on Charles Omenihu to
He's been awful.
Be a really good pass rusher, guy who could win early with Karloff as being the consistent on the other side. And after all the Twitter fingers and all that stuff from Charles in the offseason, it's just been disappointing, and that's almost made it worse. That the whole talk of feeling disrespected and all of that, and you got to prove it, and then it's been a disappointing year for him. And again, we've seen him at times put together some games and stretches that look really good. Not this year, but in the past. And so we're hoping, at least I'm hoping, no one's being brought in. Maybe it's Christian Wilkins, or maybe it's a guy that gets cut and you bring him in. But other than that, this is who the Chiefs D-line is. And as much as we can talk about Chris Jones and Karloff as those big money guys, someone else has to step up. And I think Charles is the best bet at this point. I don't think Gelati's quite there. So I'm hoping that Charles O can figure it out.
All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. And the question that I'll ask, and we'll get to this at 1 o'clock, is let's examine it from the end of the season. This rookie ends up being the rookie of the year. What's the best for the Chiefs that this guy stepped up and became that type of player in the second half? We'll talk about that as well. More Zone next. All right, wrapping up this hour, we will get into some of the other things with the Chiefs, as in, like, what rookie would make the biggest impact if they became Rookie of the Year the rest of the way. So we've given our what we thought Rookie of the Year was, and it's Noel or Josh Simmons, either one. But who's the guy the rest of the way that's like, that guy grew into it and is the Rookie of the Year, and that's the biggest impact, and, man, look what they did when that happened. We'll talk about that.
I think I know who you're going to say.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe there's
a wrinkle.
I don't know. Maybe there's some dessert. Who knows? We'll also talk some college football. Mizzou, A&M, KU heading to Arizona. College basketball on the docket. KU pregame starting at 4:30 right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. And the cuts in the final hour. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. We head up until 2 o'clock. One more hour to go. Coming up at 4:30, we have KU pregame starting. There's an update on the YouTube and ESPN.
Yes. Good news?
You're so stupid.
I know.
The Athletic's Andrew Marchand reports that the two sides, quote, remain far apart, end quote.
Great.
In the ongoing carriage negotiations entering weekend number 2 without ESPN, Disney family of network channels, ABC. Tonight, KU on ESPN. The Missouri Tigers on the SEC network.
This is so dumb. This is just ridiculous.
Tomorrow,
I
Mizzou
am
on ABC.
So angry.
You can't watch the Mizzou game tomorrow on ABC, Sterling.
I'll be there, baby.
Yep, KU,
That's why.
ESPN 2.
YouTube TV is making me an ESPN. They're making me go to the game. They're making me go to live sports.
Well, that's what they used to do when they would black out the games in the NFL. You know, it would drive people to the stadium. It didn't. It was just dumb not to show it.
I'm so angry by this. Yeah. How can these massive conglomerates be such bleeps?
Oh, I don't know. Money, probably. Greed. More profit margin.
I just want to watch
strategy.
Football.
Because what it does, like it's
NFL shouldn't be. NFL's probably pissed right now, by the way. NFL should be slightly upset. It's making it harder for people to consume their product.
I don't think that's going to upset the NFL.
They have already made it hard for fans to consume their product.
Yeah, the networks are still paying them money, though. The money ain't going to be.
No, I get that.
It's not going to be less for them because YouTube TV is not carrying ESPN, which is just that one night a week on Monday night. That's it. But they've got Thursday night with Amazon Prime. They got the games all throughout the day on Sunday, and they got Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV. So I think the NFL is fine. It's like this is. ESPN, when they started ESPN2, they put, was it Duke, North Carolina, that they put on ESPN2? And it was like, what in the hell are you doing? Nobody has ESPN2. Why are you putting this game there? Oh, I know why. So that people will then go and say, well, my cable provider, I want ESPN2. Well, that's an upcharge. We have ESPN2, but it's a sports package that you got to pay for. Well, okay. Then I'll pay for it because they're putting things on ESPN2. Then it was ESPN Plus, right? Or ESPNU. Then ESPN, no, we're putting this on ESPN Plus. Why? That's dumb. Well, because people have to then go and pay for it. So it's Disney just continuing to raise the price to all of the providers. We went through this a year ago, but it's Disney with different networks and carriers. They raise the price. So YouTube pays them more. They then pass that on to the consumer. Or you say, bleep that, bleep you, YouTube, for taking that away from me. I'm going to go straight to ESPN and pay them. Okay, well, there's $30 a month. Or what I've also seen is, you know what, bleep this, I'm going to Hulu.
Which is
also Disney.
Yeah.
So you're getting YouTube to pay you more money while also driving people to your own platforms as it is.
No, I get why ESPN.
Right, but it's all greed, though.
It's all greed. It's all obnoxious. Their app is atrocious.
Yes. The worst. It's the worst sports app. It's the worst app to watch anything, whether it's streaming or sports. It's brutal.
And then, of course, anytime you want to watch something, you have to watch an ad before it goes. So if you tried to go towards a game that's in progress,
well, that's after I have to re-log in every time.
It's just an utter disaster, and that's what we have to deal with. At least we have radio. You can listen to the radio. We don't bleep you around. I'm just so.
We give it away free. We will never. Yeah, go ahead. There you go. Thank you. We will never charge you more than what we're already charging you. Okay, unlike what YouTube TV has said, and some of these other platforms have said that, hey, we are the cheapest avenue out there, and we're going to keep this rate this low.
They're liars.
Yes, every one of them.
You know what I would do?
What would you do, Sterling?
If I were in a room with those folk, I would write them a strongly worded letter, hand it to them.
Yeah, right, in the room.
Make them read it out loud to me.
Yeah, read it out
and
loud.
Let them know that's my frustrations bubbling over.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
I would not buy them a drink.
A deal's going to get done. Like, this is not, like, YouTube TV is not going to then say, well, you know what, we're never going to allow you to put the Disney channels on YouTube TV anymore moving forward. That's never going to happen. They're going to come to an agreement. And in the meantime, they're coming to agreement while pissing a lot of people off and even driving people away. Like, there is the supply and the demand of the whole thing that, okay, if ESPN and Disney channels are worth that much to your YouTube subscribers, then you do have to pay that. Is it worth losing those to go somewhere else and get used to a different platform? Because I've heard no good things about Hulu Live. Anybody that has Hulu Live is like, it's terrible. It glitches for sports. The platform is brutal. YouTube TV is the easiest interface to use, and for sports, it's great. And if it's going to cost you subscribers to go somewhere else, as opposed to paying the extra charge for you to be able to carry it on your particular platform, where's the middle ground? And apparently neither are budging. Because, again, Disney has the bargaining power here. It's unfortunate because the consumer suffers because Disney Plus, in the last 3 years, Disney Plus is double what I paid. 3 years ago, I paid $80 a year for Disney Plus. In January, because January is when it resets again, so it's every January. We started watching in January Disney Plus. It was $80 3 years ago. January, it's already set to charge me $160. It's 3 years. It's doubled. And this is what I was freaking saying for years when everybody was laughing at cable subscribers and cut the cord, it's cheaper. Like, you guys are idiots. You can't see what's going to happen.
I had cable until a year ago.
Well, yeah, but
and I liked it. I still wish I would have kept cable.
But we're in the spot we're in because even cable's going to start charging more. YouTube TV was we're $30 a month. Come on over here. Oh, really? $30 a month? Well, yeah, you get 5 channels and only one person can watch it at a time, but it's $30 a month. But if you want to have more people watch it, well, that's going to be an extra $15. If you want 10 channels, extra 15. So it's just like cable. Only then now we're paying for Disney Plus. We're paying for Amazon Prime. You're paying for Netflix. You're paying for Hulu. You're paying for Apple TV Plus. HBO. All of these things that were offered in one particular place. Like, how did you people not see this, that ESPN was going to keep upcharging? Oh, well, I'll just go pay ESPN separately. Okay, so I got my local networks. So I got my ABC, NBC, CBS. I got my Fox. All right, I got that. And then I'll pay ESPN. And so adding all of this up, it's cheaper than just having cable, right? No, it's not. Because they're going to keep charging more and charge. It's not going to stop. It's not going to get cheaper. YouTube TV is not going to then go, oh, you know what? We were at $40 a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago. Now we're at 100. We're going to drop it to 60. Our bad. It's never going to happen. Disney's never coming back from 160. Amazon Prime's never coming back from where they are right now. It's
Big
only going to
streaming is really.
It's only because now what pisses me off with them. You know what grinds my gears? Because now, and this is just everybody preaching.
The crab walk commercial
it's
with the
preaching to the choir.
car.
I get it. Yes, it's preaching to the choir. But now Amazon Prime is like, I know that you're paying for the streaming system already, but we're actually going to put ads in these streams now, which used to be the reason you paid for the streaming system, is you didn't have commercials. But we actually are going to put in commercials. Only you can't fast forward through those commercials. But if you don't want the commercials, you could always pay us more.
And it's the same damn commercials. It's the bleeping Billy Bob Thornton in the middle of the desert talking about nonsense. Why? Why is Billy Bob Thornton there walking and talking? And then why?
Because he's Landman.
And then why did the other guy from not Animal House, from whatever the movie is.
Yeah, sure.
With Will Ferrell, they came out with one, either making fun of it
John C. Reilly?
Or no.
John C.
Why are these freaking phone commercials trying to act like they're this country thing? What's happening? What happened?
Because you don't get service out there.
And you still don't. Because I was just in Lemoore, Missouri, and I didn't get service. So you guys are a bunch of liars.
It's named after Jackson.
You're liars and some felons because you're lying to me.
Liars and felons. Eli's.
I got to listen to you guys pay these actors and talk about your great phone service that I don't receive. So I'm so mad at phone companies and TV streaming things.
Yeah, streaming things, yeah. Somehow we went from the Disney YouTube battle to Sterling is very mad about actors being paid
I'm fine.
Saying that you get coverage out in rural areas.
And they're lying to you.
He's more passionate about the commercials than the actual price of the streaming services.
Well, because I'm mad. I'm mad about it all. The crab walk, I'm mad at commercials now. The crab walk thing, when are you ever going to use that? When are you ever going to, they do it on the thing with like 4 Hummers doing the crab walk thing. When are you ever going to use that? Never.
But when you need it, it's great to have it though, right? I mean, what if you need it?
So many things. Hoodies under suits. Andrew Whitworth again.
Random stray for
Too much
Whitworth?
Snoop Dogg. We've seen enough of him.
Random stray for Snoop?
I like Snoop, but we've seen enough. Let someone else have some of the stuff.
Bring your green hat, you know?
I'm just talking about what grinds my gears right now. There's a lot of things.
Apparently, yeah.
The Chiefs' pass rush or lack thereof.
Yeah, which Disney is not going to help out with at all. So the negotiating table between the Chiefs and Disney, it's going terribly. Disney is not going to
Notre Dame being in the college football playoffs.
I was waiting until you got to that one. So there you go. But that's on NBC. Don't worry. Mick's about to drive here from vacation and punch you. I want to talk about that. But no, that is unfortunate news to hear. That came out a little bit ago. That Andrew Marchand, as we head into weekend number 2 of the college, I was wrong. I thought it was going to get close to football Saturday last week, and then let's get something done. I certainly didn't think we'd go through 2 full football Saturdays of ESPN, ABC, ESPN2, SEC Network, ACC Network, not available to a large portion of over 10 million subscribers in the country that aren't going to have access to watch that outside of ABC's, because you can go and get an antenna and connect, which I'll probably end up doing today so I can watch the Mizzou game tomorrow. Outside of doing that, then
just come to the game with us. I think we have an extra ticket.
Little man's birthday party tomorrow.
Skip.
Good call.
He'll have other birthdays. How many have you been to of his birthday? How many birthdays have you been to of his?
2, I think. Oh, wait, every one of them.
Right? You can skip one. You can miss. You're still shooting over 90%.
That's a great point. Yeah. I mean, there are plenty of time. There are plenty of people whose dads don't go to birthday parties at all.
And think of how many you've been to.
Parties.
Seriously.
Lots of birthday parties. My dad wasn't there.
Yeah, get one off.
In fact, since 2015, my dad hasn't shown up to one of my birthday parties.
So
not since 2015. Maybe he's been watching from from up above, but he has not shown up to one of them.
So you
not
can
a one.
miss
2015, he stopped coming to my birthday parties, and I'm pretty pissed off about it actually. So
you can come to the Mizzou game with us.
When I see him later on in life, I'm going to let him know. What the hell happened in 2015, you punk? Why'd you 2016 I had a birthday, and 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and on and hopefully I'm counting till 2050 and 60 and all of that stuff. But no, I'm not going to skip my son's birthday party to go to Mizzou game, Sterling. I'm not you. All right?
Be a lot cooler if you did.
Some people would. You know what? My son wouldn't think that was cooler. I promise you that. My son wouldn't think that was cooler, and I would never do. In fact, the next 2 Saturdays we have birthday parties. So I'm not going to go to the Missouri game, but that means I'm not going to the Northwest Missouri State Pitt State game next Saturday out at Children's Mercy Park, which I did want to go to. But my son's birthday is more important. So there you go. Take that, Sterling. Some people love people besides themselves. Okay?
Why?
God, that sucks. That news, man. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker of the whole thing. You'll hear that later on today with Seren. Once they finally come to an agreement, then they will raise the price of YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately. I would be more willing, honestly, I'd be more willing to pay for the ESPN Unlimited if their app wasn't trash. If it wasn't the worst streaming app out there. If I didn't have to log in every single time. If I didn't have my iPad and my phone logged into the same thing, and I can press it on my phone and it'll start playing, and then I'll go to my iPad and it'll go unable to play video. What's logged in? Well, let me stop this video here just in case it wants to say you're watching. Let me stop this. Let me get out of that particular app, open it up on the iPad, unable to play video. I'm playing it on a different device. Why in one place or the other? I'll be able to play video on one TV, then go to the other TV with the same service with the Fire Stick, same internet, unable to play TV or buffering.
Why?
Unable to play video. Because ESPN's app is brutal. It's terrible. I have no issues watching Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime.
Why doesn't it work?
Not an issue.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Never an issue. Never an issue watching Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. I can rewind, fast forward, pause, rewind, fast forward, and then on ESPN, I'll pause it. Let me go, it's bath night. Let me pause this game and go upstairs, bath night, get downstairs, press play, and it skips all the way to the
Why are you
to,
talking
to
about
the
you
live.
taking a bath?
It's bath night for the kids, you know what I mean?
I think meant for you.
Well, that too, you know? But if it was better, like honestly, this is for ESPN. If the app was better, I'd be more willing to pay the unlimited. Pay the $30 a month for the ESPN Unlimited, which gives you the ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN. You don't have to have the TV provider to log into that because I pay for the ESPN Plus. But I'd be more willing to do that if it wasn't the worst streaming app ever to watch sports. Like I'd be watching the KU game and the Mizzou game tonight. But if I had them on the ESPN Unlimited with their app on two different TVs, one's going to be just circling with the buffering thing, and one's going to be pausing, and it ain't the internet because, again, Amazon Prime, all of the streaming, no issues whatsoever.
What's
YouTube
worse?
TV, no issues streaming. YouTube TV is all through the internet, too. I got 4 games on one TV, 4 games on another TV, a main game on the main TV with no buffering whatsoever with YouTube TV. I put one game on the ESPN app, and it's going to buffer and pause.
What's worse, this news or the Vegas Raiders offense?
Yes. And another thing. I'm joking. We got the cuts before the show is over. Let's get into some sports. Let's talk about some sports, man. Let's do it. 6 o'clock tonight, KU and North Carolina. 7 o'clock, Mizzou and SEMO. That is on SEC. KU on Sports Radio 810 WHB and ESPN. But let's talk some football. Mizzou takes on A&M tomorrow. Sterling, I'm not sure if you'll be there or not. We will eventually find out once you tell us if you're going to the game or not.
See the shirtless guy.
Yes,
in the
that's right.
stands.
Especially in the second half when the feels like gets down to 30 degrees and the wind jumps up to 35-mile-an-hour gusts in the second half of that game. Other than that, though, you'll be fine with your shirt off. You're cool. Missouri A&M tomorrow. This is it's a matchup that two different quarterbacks and styles of quarterbacks. One that's just a total, complete unknown with Zollers, and Marcel Reed that is a Heisman candidate, but also maybe inflated by some numbers against lesser opponents and non-defensive opponents. And if Missouri can limit Marcel Reed, can they win the game tomorrow? Certainly. How much Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts will be part of that? But
all of it, a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, but I think there's an excitement from the Mizzou side of seeing what Zollers can offer tomorrow in the game. It's a true freshman with his first ever start against the number 3 team in the land in A&M. But that A&M defense has given up lots of points in a number of games. They gave up 42 to Arkansas. They gave up 40 to Notre Dame. They've given up points to a lot of teams, and that tells me that Missouri can score. It's just, can Missouri limit A&M? And can the offensive line keep Zollers more comfortable so that he isn't a true freshman playing against A&M out there on the field with a sold-out stadium watching his every throw and every decision?
Yes, they can.
I hope so.
I really believe that this is again, it's crazy to say. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to say Mizzou wins this game, but when you look at it, it seems to be a decent spot for Missouri playing a number 3 team in the nation. The reason is, you mentioned it, A&M's defense has been torched at times by not-great teams. If Missouri's offense can do something in this game, if they can put up 21 points, I think they have a decent shot. I mean, this Missouri defense is outstanding. They have 3 pass rushers who are elite. They have a really good linebacker in Trotter, one of the best in the country in Trotter. He's been worth all the money that's been given to him in NIL. I think when you look at the offensive side of the ball, I think Bo Prabula, you kind of saw your ceiling maybe with him. And that's not trying to take a knock on a guy who's injured. I was glad Bo Prabula was here at Mizzou, and I hope the injury and everything goes well and he can recover from that. But I think you saw, even at the end of the Vanderbilt game, you saw Zollers maybe have the more talented arm.
Yeah.
Right? And
I don't think there's any question about that. I think he's a better thrower of the football.
And that was the question to begin with Prabula and Sam Horn. Sam Horn's probably a better thrower of the ball, but the athleticism of Bo and just coming from the Power 5, it just I'm excited for Zollers for a multitude of reasons. I'm excited for this game for a multitude of reasons. I do think, again, if you're a Mizzou fan and Zollers looks good, how excited are you for the future? Now, I know in the year of transfer portals and all this stuff, is he going to stick around? You'll find out. But you have some guys who would be coming back. You have D.O., freshman wide receiver who looks outstanding. You'd have Zollers, your quarterback. I mean, you have some pieces.
Hardy.
I understand that next year's schedule is getting a little tougher.
Yeah.
But same point remains. There's some reasons for optimism. And again, I think it starts Saturday with what does Zollers look like?
And here's the thing, too, and I think this could go hand in hand. What does Zollers look like against A&M? Okay, so if he goes out there and looks pretty good, that's putting a lot on his plate. So
yes.
Just go and run the offense.
Look how he looked against Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
He looked good against Vanderbilt.
He had a couple of mistakes, but that happens.
Yes.
Put the ball where it's supposed to go. Hopefully Ahmad Hardy and Jamal Roberts can take some pressure off of you. But in the game tomorrow, we could be seeing the first indication of Bo Prabula transferring somewhere else if Zollers goes out there and performs well. But what I find to be of interest in terms of the coaching carousel, that you might have somewhat of a tight-at-the-hip type deal. If Zollers performs well the final, 4 games of the season and looks like the real deal, like, okay, this guy was a highly touted recruit. There's a reason why he was a highly touted recruit. The guy's got a big arm. Is he potentially a pro prospect? Who knows, if that's the case. But the final 4 games of the season plus bowl, if he goes out there and performs well, and you say, okay, Mizzou's got a dude at quarterback. Mizzou's got their guy at quarterback that can throw the ball. And it was like, Eli was able to have Brady cook and put things around him so that he looked like a better college quarterback than probably was ultimately. And you had that for a couple of years. And then you bring in Bo Prabula. You recruited Sam Horn. That didn't work out. You had the Tommy John surgery. That sucks. Then the injury again to Sam Horn. That's unfortunate. But Bo Prabula you brought in. Okay, can you find that quarterback? You also bring in Zollers in the recruiting class. Okay, can you find that next quarterback? If he plays well the final 4 weeks of the season, does that change Eli Drinkwitz's plans or mind one way or another of, man, I got my guy here at Mizzou. I'm pretty comfortable here. I think I'm going to, probably not, I don't want to chase happiness if everything is really good right here. Whereas if Zollers struggles and it's like, well, is Prabula going to transfer? You've got Zollers that didn't really look the part. The worm turns on your schedule next year. This might be the perfect time to go ahead and hit the exit ramp and cash in and get to a bigger program that maybe you can have more of those quarterbacks that you can find and cultivate and bring into your program. Whereas if Zollers looks good and then Eli leaves and takes another job, also increases the likelihood of Zollers then transferring.
Yeah.
Because then he would have an opportunity to show that he's pretty good. And now that increases the NIL deal for him going somewhere else if the coach that he went to Mizzou to play for is no longer there.
Be a very precarious situation. I mean, if you'd go from optimism and hope to despair in a very quick
with the schedule ahead of Missouri next year. Yeah.
Again, I think this game in particular, though, I'm giving Missouri a good chance to win it. I'm not saying, or I'm trying to do the emotional hedge to an extent.
I think Vegas does too. But go ahead.
I think it's a fairly good matchup, as good as you're going to have playing the number 3 team, undefeated team in the nation, just based on stylistic how they match up. I like Missouri's style against A&M.
BYU is heading to Texas Tech and getting 10.5 points. It's undefeated BYU against one-loss Texas Tech. They're getting 10.5 points. Texas A&M is playing Mizzou. Texas A&M, the number 3 team in the nation, undefeated, playing Mizzou with a true freshman quarterback making his first start after that team has lost to Alabama and Vandy, and the line is 7. That to me is Vegas also saying this game's going to be closer than people think.
Yeah.
Or this game has a chance to go back and forth. I mean, it's dropped to 6, 6.5, 7. It just sort of depends on the time. Like if you want to take A&M, then wait for it to get to 6.5. If you want to take Mizzou, take it while it's 7, because it's sort of been going back and forth the last few days between that. And when I look at that compared to the Texas Tech and BYU line, and I'm like, Vegas is begging you to bet BYU. They are begging you to look at it and go, hold on, BYU's undefeated, Texas Tech's 1 loss, game day down there. Why? They're getting double digits? Oh, that's stupid. I'm going to take BYU. They're begging you to take BYU, which means that Vegas, to me, thinks that Texas Tech's going to roll in that game tomorrow. They're not really begging you to take one side or the other on this Mizzou A&M game, and in fact, I would have guessed that the line would have been a little bit bigger when Bo Prabula leaves the game.
Yeah, I thought it would have been.
And it's like, okay, well now you got a Heisman candidate quarterback against a true freshman quarterback.
I thought it would have been closer to double digits.
Yeah. So that I'd say there's a little more optimism with that. KU's heading to Arizona. And the importance of this game to me is, hey, KU making a bowl game this year, it's important. I know it's easier than it's ever been before to make bowl games in college football. the consistency of every year making a bowl is sort of the first start of building the program. Be nice to win 8 or 9 games a year, but when Lance Leipold took over and you're going, hey, 3 out of 4 years he's going to take KU to the bowl. What's that? Hold on. They won 2 games the last 2 years combined. No, he's going to take over 3 out of 4 years. He's going to have this team bowl eligible. And there's going to be a 9-win season mixed in there. Shut the hell up. This guy's the greatest coach that ever lived. But fans, we all get greedy when that happens. I just wonder with this week, and there's not a line out for next week for KU against Iowa State, and the week after that against, 2 weeks because they got to bye after Arizona. So 2 weeks against Iowa State on the road, and then at home against Utah. There's not a line for that. They're 4.5-point dogs here against Arizona and on the road. I do wonder where the win comes from to get to bowl eligibility if you don't win tonight. Like, is it at Iowa State? You're coming off a bye, so maybe it is. Maybe that's the win, is going up to Ames and winning. Is it Utah at home? Utah might come into Kansas with their schedule and their record and go, hey, we got 2 losses and we're sitting here at number 12 or 13 in the college football playoff. If we win this game, we might be an at-large bid into the playoff. Okay, we're viewing this as a playoff game heading into Lawrence. KU might be playing for bowl eligibility. Utah might be playing for a playoff spot at that particular time, or maybe even a spot in the Big 12 championship, depending on how the rest of the season shakes out. So that to me is what tomorrow's game means, is just to get it out of the way. Get win number 6, so you're not thinking about that for 2 weeks going at Iowa State and home to a team that has a chance to still win the Big 12 and is right there, according to the College Football Playoff Committee, right there as being a team that can make the college football playoffs.
This should be a really fun game. This should be very high scoring. You're looking at 2 very talented quarterbacks.
The line is 10 points higher than Mizzou and A&M.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah,
I still find it a little low, even though it's gone up in the Arizona-Kansas game.
Yeah.
I think that's the concern, though, if you're a Kansas fan, is how many stops can your defense get? I know they've put up 17 back-to-back weeks, the offense, which they need to be better in that instance, obviously. But I still
before Oklahoma State.
Was that what it was before Oklahoma State? I got to
It was Texas Tech and K-State.
Sorry, before Oklahoma State. Yeah,
they didn't look good in the first half against Oklahoma State, though, either.
Yeah.
So
but it was Oklahoma State. It's understandable that you would forget whatever the hell happened in that game.
So I guess, Michael, you're the KU guy here. I guess that'd be my concern is, 1, if the offense starts off slow, and 2, can the defense get enough stops? Because this should be a very high-scoring affair.
If the offense doesn't score 30, they're not winning. Yeah. I hate to say it, but KU's defense has been god-awful for the past 2 years. It's even worse this year than it was last year. And I have no faith in the defense getting a stop. I actually think if they don't win this game, their season's over. Yeah. They're not winning in Iowa State. They're not beating Utah at home. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and it's an Arizona team that, lost by a possession to BYU at home, went to Houston and lost by 3, put up a half 100 on Colorado. So it's a good team. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Unfortunately, I think both of the local teams are going to be on the wrong side of the ledger. So hopefully I'm wrong, and we're talking about KU bowl eligible and Missouri's playoff hopes still alive. We'll see if that's the case. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We got the cuts coming up next. All right, we'll get to the cuts here. Also, I do want to pass along a couple of interesting things with local Chiefs representatives that'll be out and about. Tomorrow, college game day picker is Texas Tech. Patrick Mahomes. He went to Texas Tech. I heard that. So he'll be the guest celebrity picker. And then the KC baby chant for the KC Current tomorrow, led by Steve Spagnuolo before the playoff game for the Current.
Nice.
So let's get to the cuts here. What do you say there, Michael? Whatever
you
we
can
got.
catch flies with honey, but you catch more honeys being fly.
So true.
It's true. It was thick, that had grown unruly. Mm-hmm. It listened to no rules, and it abided by no rules. It was very unruly. It was too thick. My mustache.
Sterling got rim last night.
Did you?
I did. I
buddy.
got it.
I got it.
Phillips brings that ass.
Yeah.
Like I talk about it all the time. You got to have guys who bring the ass. It's true.
Yeah. How about that? We had no Sterling last week and a brief cuts today. That's my fault. It's my apology. I got a little too hot under the collar on the latest report of still ESPN or Disney and YouTube being far apart. Could have had more time for cuts. That probably would have been better. But
I'm just saying, you got to bring the ass.
Well,
you got to have someone who can box out.
That makes sense.
Got to get the boards.
He's calling Sean Phillips a donkey. Just he's that ass. They're bringing the donkey with them.
You need to. You got to have someone who can get the rebounds and the boards.
You know, next week I think we'll be talking about how the Chiefs are going to dominate the Donkeys.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Bo Nix continues to show his ass as what type of quarterback he is.
2 scoops, some say.
I would say that too. Sean Payton, though. Hey, there's no but. We're 8-2. That's all. Speaking of butt, ass.